you know, we need it. And then we'll get started. Okay. All right. Perfect. I will start sharing my screen and then we'll go from there. Can you see my PowerPoint?
Yes.
All right. I went with blue last time. Now it's going to be pink, just for a change. All right. So today's agenda. So today we're going to talk about, so the first thing I want to talk about is I posted on our discussion thread. If you've been to Canvas, I saw some people already commented on. We're going to have a way to, while we are presenting our groups today, whoever is not presenting at the time, you're going to be taking notes on people's presentations. So there will be a way for you to take notes on a piece of paper, and then before the end of the night, you will post to Canvas into the discussion. So you're gonna like give feedback to the group, something simple. It's gonna kind of look like this. Main ideas that you learned, how the group delivered the information, your favorite part of the presentation, how the group can improve the presentation, and then something you can use to apply in your classroom, and then something that stuck with you. So be thinking about that, all right? So that is posted on our thread. So I wanna say, grab a piece of paper, or pieces of paper, or your notebook. You're gonna be taking notes while people present. If you wanna take a picture with your phone of the screen and like take a screenshot, like you can just do that, like go and like take a screenshot like that. You can kind of have like picture of your screen, the screen you can, that helps. All right. I didn't want you to type it because
This is recording,
how do you watch the presentation and type? I mean, it's supposed to be a simple note, all right?
All gonna be okay.
Just to keep you like engaged. All right, did you take a picture?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. All right, you can also screenshot. All right, so I'll go back to that. So we're gonna have the note sharing during our presentations. Then we're going to have the group presentations, of course, right? We're gonna talk about a bank of lesson plans that we're gonna create. So that's gonna be fun to talk about. We're gonna create with your lessons that you've been creating. I was thinking about creating a way that we can share those lessons when we're done and have them accessible for everyone, so that, let's say you want a unit on, like a summer unit on, going to the beach, or reduce, reuse, recycle. Then you can go and you can use somebody else's unit. That might be kind of cool to do. So once we put those things together, that can be something that we can do pretty soon. Let me admit more people. Okay, I have 3 more people joining us. All right. Hello, hello, if you're joining us, hello.
Hi. I'm having a little difficulty getting it to hook up.
All right. And then, so we're gonna talk about the bank of lesson plans, how we're gonna do that. And I want your ideas, not mine, I want your ideas. And then we're going to talk about our next group presentations, and I'm gonna give you jobs. So I kind of brainstormed some jobs for us, like something to help you have like a role and hopefully help you with like managing the group. So we'll see, like a facilitator, somebody to be a cheerleader, a timekeeper, a note taker, stuff like that. And then, of course, at the end of the class, I'll let you ask questions and all that. And then we'll talk about how to post your feedback to the group. And of course, that's gonna give you 10 points for today as well. So as we go, I'll clarify each point, but that's pretty much what we're gonna do in a nutshell. All right. So first thing I wanna talk about is, I wanna praise you first, okay? I think, so I put this little unicorn on the side right there. You are amazing, okay? The lesson plans that I have graded this week, the first week, oh my gosh, amazing. Okay, I wanna see everybody like pat your back, come on, pat your back. I want to see you pat your back. Come on. It's literally, I want to see you pat your back. Okay, like big time. So good. So good. You guys did so amazing. I don't even know what to say. I am so pleased with this whole idea of the lesson plan. Like, I don't even know. You guys really did a fabulous job. I know it was hard. Wasn't it hard? I know. And I could tell that you took a long time to do it. A long time. The objectives, the goals for each of your lessons, like looking for books and ideas. And it was like you pulled it out of like the hat. It was awesome. Like, I didn't even know what to say. I was telling the other instructors that also teach the same class, I don't think they're seeing the same things that I'm seeing. They were like, well, not everybody turned it in. I had half my class, the other half, I don't know yet. They were like telling me all those stories, and I was like, well, I had like 99% of my class turned it in.
It was fun.
I don't know.
Exactly.
Plus, it gave you lots of good
I agree.
ideas to do with your daughter.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
They gave you lots of good ideas to do with your daughter.
Right?
Yeah.
That's true. Sister, you're going to say something?
Oh, just that it was good to do a group, you know, it helps get kind of broaden it, I think.
Right. That's true. That's true. What else? What are some of the things you want to say about your lesson plans? Your week 1. Some of you are already turning in week 2.
Did I lose you?
I can say I was really nervous to get started, and I felt like I had no idea what I was doing. And then once I got going and I was like researching and finding different things, I was like, I need another day in the week.
It was over here.
You were like Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I think we passed it. It was by. Hello. Sorry. I am running to my mom's house because I have Wi-Fi there. I'm sorry.
I literally just went into my garage because I remember I had a whole bunch of books. I'm like, wait a minute. I have a lot of activities in my garage in the box, and I pull it out and I'm all making my lesson plan, getting creative. So it was pretty fun.
Cool. Did anybody cry?
No.
Okay, good. I was like,
did.
I didn't make anybody cry. That's good. What is
A lot of work. It was a lot of work, but it was fun. And our group decided that with our topics, we would even extend it another week.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So a unit could be 3-4 weeks, right? So I'm wanting you guys to do 4 weeks on that same topic, but sometimes you could extend it 5-6 weeks. Depending on what you're doing, you can.
And the children's interest.
Yeah.
And their goals, their objectives, if they're not met within the 4th week, we can also keep on going until they meet that goal.
Yeah. Yeah. How many of you had ideas for like cooking class within your first week? Raise your hand if you had ideas. Let's see.
Yeah.
Victoria and Erica and Misha. Okay, 3. You can also use your reaction button, and you can do maybe a thumb up if you had, because in case I don't see your face, you can just do a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking for it on my phone. I couldn't find it, but it's somewhere.
At the bottom. Yeah, I think it's at the bottom. Yeah, thumb up. So, so if it's something you haven't done yet, maybe the cooking could be something that you're going to explore next. That could be kind of with sensory, because they can be touching, maybe they can make cookies, they can be doing that, making some sort of dough. I don't know. You can incorporate that with your sensory stations somehow,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
What about video? Like watching something. Sometimes schools don't have TVs or
Right.
iPads. How could you do that? What are some ideas that you could use?
I think it's okay every once in a while to add in different songs or online stories, or just watching, because you can watch some short little things to add with your with what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I added like a read aloud book. It was very interesting. I did it with my kids on the tablet, and they were like, they stood on the carpet for like, oh, this is something new, and they were so excited about doing that activity this week. I included it on my lesson plan.
That is awesome. Misha, go ahead.
So we did like a tree unit, but within that we just had some baking ideas, like making applesauce or things like that. So that's what we incorporated.
Yeah, that was actually a really cool lesson plan.
Thank you.
There were a lot of because it's spring right now, a lot of the lesson plans were about spring and seasons and trees and plants, and that was really nice. So for the unit that I started, that I showed you in the first video, the second week for my unit, I actually got the larva to become butterfly. So it actually got to my house yesterday. So today I'm gonna go get it. Let me go get it real quick. It sits on a specific table so that my daughter doesn't open the jar. So I can always know if the jar is open or not, because you're not supposed to open it. It's called a cup of caterpillars.
Oh, that's
Super cool, right?
cool.
That
They
is cool.
come in a cup
Now,
of
are those
food.
the pink ladies or
No,
no?
these are gonna be, I think they're monarch
Are
Wow.
those monarchs?
butterfly.
Wow, where'd you get those?
Oh.
My daughter did the painted ladies in second grade.
So yeah, so on Amazon I bought the kit for butterflies. So it came with just this net for when they actually become butterflies. But then there's a coupon. You have to order the larva when you're ready. So you go online, order them, and then they come. So they got delivered yesterday. It took a few days. So you have to keep the lid closed so that in a few days they attach themselves to the lid. And then you put them on this little pedestal inside that little net until they become butterflies. So then you have to observe, but it's really cool. So it's something that they've been doing, that we've been doing for a few weeks now, like this lesson. So my daughter and I have been doing that lesson together. We've been doing it. So
Great.
yeah, so
That's awesome.
So the first video that I recorded for you guys, I was teaching that unit for about 2 weeks before that, so I could record the videos for you. So I could gather all the little pieces that I needed for that. So it was really cool. So you need to really think about your students. What is it that you need to do beforehand so you're prepared for your unit for the students? You're always thinking ahead. That's why they need to pay us $1 million, because we think about our lessons in the shower, when we're driving. Like we need to get paid full time, 365 days a year.
Yeah.
Right? Thumbs up if you agree. Just
I agree.
right?
Really?
Thumbs up. Right?
Yep.
All right, perfect. Yep. All right, so any questions before we kind of get going? Anything else? Let's see, I'm going to share my screen right here. We're going to talk about our lesson bank in a second, okay, in small groups. So things that I want you to be thinking about for your lessons moving forward, all right? So I have, can you see my screen? Yes?
Yeah.
Yes. Continue the same unit for week 2, of course, which is due in the next few days. Now, another thing I want to tell you, if you have not finished your unit, week 3 yet, you can still do it. I want you guys to do things on time, but I don't want you to be feeling like you can't, turn something in a day or 2 late. Sometimes things happen and you need to just do it when you can. So just don't make sure, I want to make sure that you still, turn things in accordingly, so you're not like totally lost and things start like snowballing, and then you get 1 assignment and then you have 2 assignments and you have 3 assignments and you can't keep up. Just turn it in when you can. I think the goal for this class is to make sure that you are learning the process. If you're given curriculum and they give you all the materials and the goals and the books and the lessons, good, awesome. But if you're not given anything, then you can be like, oh, I know what I'm gonna teach. This is it. And then you just go with it, So just kind of think about how you can, be self-sufficient. And sometimes being late with 1 assignment is fine. Just don't let it be late for too many days. All right. I don't mind if it's a day or 2 late, as long as you catch up really fast. All right. Does that help?
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, because I know some of you guys are like feeling stressed about it. Just don't be stressed about it. It's all good. Okay. So I want you to be thinking about like, okay, so you did week 1. Are you gonna do week 2? Some of you already turned it in. I can't wait to read those. I'm just like super excited. Week 3 and 4. So continue the same unit, same train of thought. Think about the goals at the end. What will guide you are those questions that you're wanting the kids to answer. What is it that guide your unit? So for example, for my unit, for my life cycles. So my questions are, what are life cycles? I only finish my unit when I know my daughter knows to answer what a life cycle is. And she can explain different life cycles of plants and animals and different things. Until then, I know I'm not done. So I have a lot of work to do. So think about your unit. What is the answer you want from the kids? And then you're gonna continue moving on with the same concepts, exploring different ways of teaching that lesson. Now, my suggestion is that you put week 1 and then week 2, week 3, and week 4. I would put everything in the same document. What do you think?
What do you mean?
Like make 1 document for your unit. So you would put the table of, like, you put week 1, instead of creating a separate document for week 2 and week 3 and 4, maybe you could make a running document so that when you're done with all your 4 weeks, your first page can be a cover page with a nice picture with your name. And then the last page can be a list of books. See my list right here on this slide? A list of books that you used, materials and supplies. If you were to give this to somebody else, let's say you get sick and you have a substitute for a month. Here you go. Here is my lesson plan. And here is what you need. You need those materials and those are the books you need together. Go. And you're done. So, and if you were to share your lessons, let's say Victoria, for example, Victoria's lesson is on the celebrations, right? She talked about like different like holidays and things like that. Let's say Michaela wants to use that unit in her school. Then she would grab that beautiful unit with a cover about celebrations. She would open the first cover, oh, week 1, 2, 3, 4, and then she has all the books and everything. Boom, she can teach the whole unit without doing anything else. So we can create a bank of lessons that we can exchange if we do it similarly. What do you guys think? cool,
So can
but
we do this on like a PowerPoint?
a PowerPoint. We could. I think a Word document would be better
Okay.
just because of the amount of text.
Okay.
Because you have tables, how would they break?
Mm.
So at the
Yeah.
end of
Okay.
lesson plans on one document, you want the list of books, materials, goals, daily questions, even if it's in the lesson plan itself?
Yeah, at the end, yeah.
Oh, okay.
At the
We could
very
even
end of
use
all
it,
4 weeks or at the end of?
could be end of all 4. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I can create a, do you want me to create an example?
Yes, please.
That would be helpful.
Yeah,
That'd be much helpful.
Yeah,
I'm just-
I could create a template on what it could look like, and then that might help, like cover, table of contents, something like to kind of guide your thinking. Doesn't have to be all cookie cutter, all the same, but kind of similar would be cool, right?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think because I turned in week 2 already. Like, you want us to go back and connect them now? And
Well, you could, when you turn in week 3,
okay.
then you just put all 3 together.
Okay.
Yeah, because you still have time until the end of the quarter, you know. I'm not in a hurry to
Okay.
combine everything, but by the end of the quarter, then we can have that. Now, I mentioned that to our dean, and she was super excited. So our next thing, yeah, she's like, oh my gosh, this is so great. Like, nobody has ever done this. I thought, why not? Like, we're like recreating the wheel. And then I'm thinking, if we have a way to share those things and everybody, like, even when you finish your coursework and you can still go back and look at those units that the new students are creating, you're always going to have new things and you still have access to those, then you're always going to have refreshed topics, refreshed goals and objectives. And you can always go back and look, thinking, how come nobody thought about that? That's genius. That's great. Why not? So that's the next thing we're going to do. The next slide is to talk about how we're going to do it. Okay. So daily questions would be like, what are the questions that you might ask the students every day? What are some of the guiding questions for their thinking? And then parent newsletters ready for others to use. Like if you were to communicate with the parents with a newsletter or like an email or a message, what kind of messages could you create? Maybe create little templates or little letter-like things. Say, hey, this week we're gonna be doing that. Oh, watch this link. Like things that people could copy, paste, and use. All right, those are suggestions. Those are not part of like your grade. Like you're gonna have to have your 4 weeks, but if you had your everything super cool, would be awesome, right? And if you're working with a group of 2, would be even easier to do. So just a thought for you. Okay, we're gonna break out right now into small groups. I'm gonna do groups of 2 or 3. I want you to brainstorm ideas. So first say hi, talk about how everything is going for you. Then talk about ideas on how this could look like. Could we do a Google Drive? Should we come up with a website? How could we host it? Maybe a blog, Facebook page? Like what are some ideas you have in mind? Where we could store those lessons? How do we give credit to the authors? In the case you, cover, list of books, materials. We need to have age of children so we can kind of find how can we like save those files, all right? So I'm gonna have you guys break into groups. Where's my thing? Right here. Breakout room. So when you see on your screen, like join the breakout room, you will just say yes and join, all right? Okay, you ready? Okay. Go ahead and start.
on the Google Drive. I'll have to look at it.
Angela? Professor Johnson?
Yes.
So
Did you turn in
I'm,
your lesson planner?
I'm on my phone in room 8. I was just in the car, so now I'm trying to just log in on my computer.
Okay.
So I don't need a group. I'll just stay on my phone until we go back to the regular thing.
Perfect. They're all done? Were they done?
No, I just didn't want you to put me in another group, so then I was in 2 groups.
Oh,
So I was just logging in on my computer so it could be like on a bigger screen.
perfect. Which group were you with?
I'm in group 8.
8. Okay, let's see if I can, and I put you in a different group, huh?
Yeah, room breakout 7.
All right, let's see. Perfect. Move to 8. I'll have you go there, all right?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
You want me to go in the other room?
Okay.
All right. We're almost all back. We're coming back as a group.
What do you think, Beth?
All right. Was it enough time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't want to be going into all the rooms because when I go in, I interrupt. It's like, why is she here? It's kind of creepy. I did that the other time, and people were like, "Ooh, are we in trouble?" So I didn't this time. So sorry. I didn't know if you guys needed more time. So hopefully we can just chat a little bit as a whole class. So what are some ideas? Are we all back together? Yep, we are. All right, so what are some ideas?
Well, in our group, we thought it would be a good idea to do a web page, and then that's where we would have all the different categories that the lessons plans consisted of. So trees with nature and clothing, there'll be sports. So kind of like a web page where teachers could be able to access it all.
Okay, nature, clothing, so by theme.
Yeah.
Theme and age group. Okay.
We just figured doing a Google Drive
Okay.
as students.
I
But
like
the
that.
website's like, yeah, definitely it's open to the public, to everybody, right?
Okay, yeah. Did
Yeah,
you guys
so
talk
if-
about like authors?
I think that just at the bottom, we would just say this was created by, and then whoever the group was, just a little, say who it was by, give the credit to them.
I imagine if we did like a Google Drive kind of thing, like Davina was talking about, that basically we would just list or have the everyone's papers like one after the other. So it'd be one person, but they'd have the title page. So it'd say what it is and then who created it. And then the next one will have the title page. That way, right before you get into the curriculum or the unit, then it'll say who created it.
Mm-hmm. Like have all the information on that cover or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, on the cover page. Yeah, that's great.
Okay, I'm taking notes on my paper so we can get that going. Okay, maybe a Google Drive or a web page. Okay. What else?
We also thought of a website that could possibly be like on the CBC under education, where like anybody in the education program could go in there and just look back at curriculums, kind of like if we were a district.
I like that idea too. That's good.
Ooh, we could call ourselves a center of excellence or something. CBC Center of Excellence for Early Childhood Education. Nobody has ever done anything like that, you guys. I swear. It's been like 30 years that this program exists. It's like nobody has ever done anything like that.
I gotta pay you extra, Angela, for coming up with all that.
Right? What? You guys need a cut. You're like using all the brain power and you're creating all those awesome units and all that time. It's amazing. Oh my gosh, I love that. What else? Other ideas? Anything else that you want to tell me?
Our group thought about doing a Facebook page, and then you would be able to invite members, and we were thinking people that take the curriculum class could become members once they join, I guess, take the class, and then they could get on there, be part of the group, and then anybody would upload what they did through Google Docs, like a attachment or whatnot.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Then we would probably need more than one administrator, people that would be like you guys, students that would kind of help manage and answer questions or accept people into the group, like manage the group.
Oh yeah, and that way it's much easier just to post them on a Google Drive or like the CBC website where people can just access them. If you're doing a Facebook thing, you're right, you do have to manage it.
Well, it's like teachers pay teachers, but why do we want to have to pay each other? I want to help other people if I can, so might as well give it to other people that are taking classes just like us.
Yeah, in our area, it makes sense. Yeah, they might be our co-workers tomorrow. We don't know.
Isn't there a way to make Facebook public, like a Facebook page public? Ooh, sorry, I can't speak.
Yeah.
Or like, would you have to invite people or let them join, or could they just access it and see it?
You could do it both ways. You can be a moderator. You can say, oh, you need to answer those questions to join the group, or you can, it can be open to public, but sometimes open to public still needs a moderator because people post inappropriate things, people that are not part of the group or we don't know about it. Yeah. Yeah, that happens. I manage a group called Bilingual Education. I have 3,000 members. It took me, it's been about 10 years that I have that group. It took me about 8 years to open it to everyone and be like, okay. And then now the members, they tell me when there's something wrong. So I don't manage anymore who comes in, but the members report. So I get a report saying so-and-so reported there is like inappropriate content, and then I can take it down. If not, I don't have to manage too much. They post jobs. It's kind of cool. It's people from all over the world, and it just it's kind of cool. But you can post things about, yeah, you can post about anything. This page can be about curriculum, but it can be about like read aloud. It can be about, any activity to do with education, which is kind of cool, right? New trends, new anything, which is awesome. And then the files, we can figure out a way to also put the files up there. I like that. I like the CBC web page, like a district page idea. I think I'm gonna talk to our dean, see what they say, if we're allowed or not. Nobody has ever done anything like that. That's cool.
Yeah, I agree. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty cool. I think we're gonna be famous, you guys. Just saying. Are you ready for the fame?
Yes, I am.
Yes, you're
Maybe,
like,
but not.
you gotta buy some outfit for the picture. You're gonna be like pictured and published and just kidding.
That just means we're pioneers.
Right? Somebody has to start the good work, and you guys are definitely doing great. I am really impressed. I was worried because it's the first time I'm teaching this class. I didn't know what to expect, and this group is really big. It's 36 students. The other groups that are taking this class are like 20 people. We're like almost double, and I was like, okay, how am I gonna manage so many, right? But you guys are just amazing. They're having like half the class not done, and you guys are like 99% done. And I'm like, well, this is my group. They're amazing. I'm bragging about you during my meetings, and they can't even believe it. They're like,
thanks, Angela. Thanks, Angela. We just have to say it's because of you.
Oh,
definitely, for sure.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I've been trying to like do my very best. Like recording those videos take a lot out of me. You don't even know.
You're doing an amazing job. Thank you.
Thank you. The first video was 2 hours long to record, but to put together was about a week putting the PowerPoint together and gathering the videos. And then recording the videos was like 2 weeks before that. So it was like a lot of planning. Then the second video was better because it was shorter. It didn't require as much planning, but just planning that whole thing backwards, like backwards planning was a lot. But I'm better now, like, faster.
I appreciate how quickly you get back if somebody has a question. At least for me, if I have a question, you get back really quick, and I appreciate it.
Oh,
I do too.
I try. If I see it right away, I answer right away. If I don't see it, when I see it, I reply. I try.
Thank you.
Hannah, she's like,
Yeah,
yay.
you're doing a great job. Not just a try.
Oh, thank you. I try to go through my emails all the time, and I can only do so much, but I try my very best.
You're doing more than much, I would say.
Oh, thank you. You guys are worth it, and I think we're here together, and I really want you to learn to do this, because if you don't know how to lesson plan, when you get to the bachelor's and half of you or all of you, maybe 80% of you are like thinking about the bachelor's, when you get there, you're gonna do lesson planning with your eyes closed. Like, okay, common core state standards. Oh, that's easy. I got this. Yeah. Yes. All right. Okay, so let's get this going. All right. I'm so excited to see your guys' like work. Really, 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 really excited to see the whole presentation of each of your curriculum approaches. I'm super excited. So when you're doing your presentation today, if you're not presenting, I want you to take notes on a few things. So you're going to write main ideas about what you're learning. So the first group is the Montessori. I think is group 1, right? The Montessori group. Then they're gonna present first, talk about their ideas, and then you're gonna take notes. So grab a piece of paper, create some sort of table like I have on your screen, and then just take a few ideas, nothing much, nothing crazy, okay? And if you can't post tonight, post tomorrow, take your time.
So we're gonna post this by taking a picture of what we wrote or by rewriting it on the discussion?
You can take a picture if you want. Yes, that was the next thing I was gonna say. You can take a picture of your paper and then post as an attachment. Or you can type if you prefer, whatever you want. I just didn't want you to be typing it on the computer and not actually paying attention to the presentation, because, you know, it's like you put a lot of effort into your presentation, but then you're not gonna learn about the other approaches. So I really want you to learn about everything.
So we have to write about each one then?
Each one of them.
Okay.
And then your own, I want you to think about how you think your presentation went. So like your favorite part of your presentation with your group, and then things that you could improve. Something that stuck with you, something you learned, something that you can apply, and still a couple main ideas.
So Angela, the grid that you're showing there, is that the points that we take notes according to those points?
Yes. So those are the ideas I want you to kind of focus on. Main ideas, organization of the group that presented, how they delivered the content, was it great? How did they do? Just kind of give them some feedback, I guess. So everybody will be able to see it. So make sure that it's positive. If it's like, oh, they didn't do very well, so you could say, I really like how you did this. Next time, maybe work on speaking loud, or, you know, you can give feedback by being positive. Try to kind of use positive language, and you do. And just being active. Because sitting through 6 presentations without anything to do, it can be really tricky.
Angela, are we supposed to take notes on our own group?
So for your own group, you're just gonna reflect.
Just reflect, okay.
Yeah, so you're gonna say how you think, you know, what your favorite part was, how you can improve next time. I know some groups, and I know group work is super tough. Like I went back and forth, I was thinking, oh my goodness, like we're gonna finish this today, and I'm gonna tell you, oh yeah, there's one more next time we meet. I know how hard it is to work in groups, especially when you don't meet. So we're gonna talk about some of those jobs. So for the next time that we do this, it's gonna be class number 7. I'm gonna go over it with you real quick, okay? So for class 7, so before we start our presentations, I'm gonna have, can you see my screen? Yes? I'm gonna assign jobs. So one of you guys in the group will be a timekeeper. So your job is gonna be, of course, creating the PowerPoint. You're gonna help create the presentation. That's like a given. You're gonna make sure that you're part of the presentation, that you know the content, you read that chapter, the content. But you're gonna have an extra job, because sometimes if everybody's involved but nobody has a specific thing that they have to do, then nobody does it, right? It's like, oh yeah, somebody's gonna put the PowerPoint together. Well, somebody's gonna call somebody, or somebody's gonna, you know, turn it in, or so, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. So I'm gonna have a timekeeper, a cheerleader, which is that person that checks in with people often. How's it going? Are you almost done reading the chapter? Are you going, you know, what's next? I'll have a note taker, somebody that will email the group and communicate or call. Ooh, okay, we haven't heard from you. Where's your part? How are you doing? Like, of course, the person's gonna be good about it, but still trying to kind of get people to work. Somebody's gonna be in charge of visuals. So make sure that your PowerPoint has nice pictures, images, videos. Like, that's cool. And then I'm assigning a supervisor. So the supervisor supervises everybody else's job. Like making sure that everybody else's work is getting done, that the timekeeper is actually the timekeeper. and the cheerleader is cheerleading others, that kind of stuff, you know. And then I have a facilitator that will tell everyone, okay, this is how we're gonna split this chapter. Sometimes I think that's the hardest job because nobody really knows who's doing what part until later, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, what are we doing? And then I assigned also a technology guru. So that person's gonna be in charge of like starting
Uh-oh.
the PowerPoint. That person's not gonna be like, okay, that person like is a little savvy, or you know, will try to like problem solve. And then the last one is somebody in charge of making sure that everyone has notes for each slide. You know how when you're presenting your PowerPoint, like when you're putting it together, at the bottom of each slide there says notes. You can type in notes.
Yes.
That exists because when somebody's absent, let's say Victoria is sick, she cannot present her part. If you have notes of what she has to say, what her part is about, anybody in the group can do that presentation for her. So that's why that part is important that you have, so that it's kind of like a description, like as if she was talking to, you know, the class. Okay, hi guys, today we're going to learn about this. Like you would type kind of like a script of what that slide was gonna be about. So the notes are kind of cool, but there's always somebody that could be in charge of that to make sure that everybody added something to that part. Okay, sometimes it's just like a picture, but you can say like it's Angela's slide, or you know, it's Cozima's slide or Tracy's slide, something on those on the notes. All right, so I assigned some for you. So for group 1, let's see what I got here. If you guys have, let's see, I have, for group 1, you can take a picture with your phone, all right? If you want. And this is also, remember that collaboration file?
Yeah.
It's already updated with this. So if you forget, so I thought Christian would be a good timekeeper. What do you think, Christian?
Can you just give me a little summary of what I have to do?
Well, you're going to, after Nayeli gives you your part of the chapter that you have to read and put together for this slide, you're gonna make sure everybody is like ready to like turn it in. Like you're gonna know like, okay, this is the due date. Are you guys done with the, you know, this part? You know, just kind of keeping everybody on track. Like, oh yeah, the presentation is May 30th. Okay, it's May 15th. We need to be done with this part. You know,
Okay.
kind of just checking to see.
Hey, Angela?
Yes.
Yeah, I can do that.
Perfect.
Sorry to interrupt you. It looks like Erica is trying to get in.
Oh, let's see. Thank you for letting me know. Let's see.
You're welcome.
Oh yeah. Thank you so much. Perfect. I accepted her. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Screen back. Sorry, good point. All right, I have Christian there. I have Otilia. You're gonna be a cheerleader. Ooh. You're gonna be a cheerleader.
And that just check in with everyone to make sure what do I do?
They're doing okay. Like you put your PowerPoint together, your slide that you're assigned by Nayeli, but then after you do that, you're gonna make sure everybody's doing their job, if they're okay, how's everybody doing, so they're not forgotten at their house. I guess it's a good job now that everybody's quarantined, I guess. It's a really good job. It's like a social butterfly job.
Okay, perfect.
Vanessa will be a note taker, like kind of like emailing, communicating, or call. Does that work?
Yes.
Yes. I think you're very organized. I thought so. That's why I gave you that job.
That's fine.
Okay. I tried to like figure out like, that could be a good job for that person, or I tried to kind of think about your personalities and try to figure out what would be good. Belinda, I put you in charge of visuals. Is she there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you see me? Because I cannot see myself.
You make sure the slides look beautiful at the end before you turn it in.
Sounds
And there's
good.
videos if it's lends itself to that. Videos, visuals, charts.
Okay. Sounds
Beautiful
good.
backgrounds, whatever. Nayeli will decide how they're going to split the chapter. You're going to be the facilitator.
Okay.
Diana, do you feel comfortable being the technology guru?
Can you tell me what that all entails?
Well, starting a PowerPoint that everybody could work on, like on Google Drive, would you be able to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then sharing with your group and emailing everybody and kind of communicating with them and making sure that, you know, you would be the one turning it in for the group.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, and then Cecilia would be in charge of making sure everyone has notes for their slides at the bottom.
Hey, Angela, I think you skipped supervisor.
And Diana.
Yeah, I think you skipped supervisor for me. I wanted to see what, how does that differ from cheerleader? So the supervisor.
Oh yeah,
and the
Perla.
cheerleader.
Yes, Perla is supervisor. Yes. Sorry, yes. And Perla is supervisor. I skipped. Yes, you're there.
It's okay.
And then Cecilia, are you cool with being supervisor?
How does that differ from cheerleader? So I just
Well,
wanna really
supervisor,
understand.
you supervise everybody's jobs.
Also make sure
You're
that
like the
everyone's
boss.
doing it.
Yeah, just
Oh.
check in with everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just kind
Can
of
do that.
like making sure that everybody's doing okay. And like,
Okay.
let's say Nayeli, you're gonna, like with Nayeli, have you split the chapters yet? Like if you don't hear from her like in like 3 days, do you need help like splitting the chapters? You would be more like that support person.
Okay.
Like, or like, Christian, do you need help like, you know, with the due date? Do you know when the due date is? Or kind of like, or maybe Diana is having a hard time putting, you know, together the Google Drive document.
I have a question.
Yes, Nayeli.
We're gonna do this based off of chapter 5, right? So we have to the PowerPoint on everything on chapter 5.
Yes, chapter 5 is only for this group. So group 1 has the whole chapter.
Okay.
So the next chapter, so Cecilia is gonna be the notes person. Is that okay, Cecilia?
I think you skipped Diana too.
No, she
said me.
Yeah. Diana.
Oh, that was you.
Perfect.
Technology.
Technology, yeah. All right, group 2 is going to be chapter 6, environments for toddlers. So group 1 is infants, so group 2 is toddlers. So I have Tracy as my facilitator. What do you think, Tracy?
That's good.
Yeah, I think you're really organized. I think you got this one.
Sounds good.
As a Judith, timekeeper?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's good? Okay. Lisette?
Yeah.
Technology guru?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes, like, do you know how to put a PowerPoint together for the group using Google Drive?
Yeah, either way, usually when I partner up with Judith, she does it, but I already texted her and she says she's willing to help if I need it.
Perfect. But you also have Tracy to help, and who's your supervisor? Misha is good too. Misha, what do you think?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, so she can be the boss of all and help with each job.
Yep. Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. How about Dawn? Are you good with your job?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay, Erica?
Yes, I'm good.
Good.
I'll
So
do
in charge of visuals, all pretty, beautiful
Okay,
images and videos and all the cool stuff.
Sure, I'll do that.
Awesome. Dawn, are you good with being in charge of the notes? Make sure they have notes.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. That's important. Very important job. I like that job. Hannah D, note taker, being like communicating with everybody if necessary.
Yes, that's fine.
Good, you're a good communicator. Kazima, can you be the cheerleader? Make sure you're checking in with everyone. Is she there? I think she probably left, maybe.
Yeah, I can do it. Sorry.
Yeah, Kazima,
Yeah.
perfect, perfect. All right. Sometimes it takes a while to get to unmute. Yep. And
Okay.
then Aurora, are you good at being the timekeeper?
Yes.
Yes. Timekeeper also could be like, if your slides, if you know your presentation is gonna be like super long, that could be also a job for the timekeeper. Like, I think this is too long or too short. The
Angela, you
timekeeper
have
can
two.
do anything.
You have two timekeepers on that one.
That's okay.
Up
So
at the
for some
top
group-
and Aurora.
yeah. For some groups, I have the same job twice. You'll see.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, but if you guys need to change jobs too, I'm not opposed to that. If you need to make adjustments, all right? Just let me know. All
Sounds
right.
good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Chapter 3, group 3 is chapter 7. You're gonna work on physical environments for preschoolers. And then I have Chelsea as a cheerleader. Gracie will be the facilitator. I don't think she's here today, so you guys need to tell her. I haven't seen Gracie today logged in yet. Kimberly, technology guru. Are you cool with that, Kimberly? Kimberly, are you there?
Hello.
Hey, are you good being the technology guru? Can you put together the PowerPoint on Google Drive?
Yes, I can, Angela.
Awesome. Okay, so if you need help, your supervisor is Davina. Davina, how do you feel about that? You good?
All right. Yes, I had to unmute my microphone. Yes, that's fine because I took care of getting everything together last time.
Good. Did the video that I posted help?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. I knew it would. That's good. I'm so glad. So I have Michaela Sprellin in charge of making sure everyone has notes.
I'm good with that. Thank you.
You're welcome. And then Victoria, note taker for emails and communication.
Yep, sounds good.
Erica Ramirez, timekeeper.
Teacher, we are two and timekeeper.
What is it?
Me and Aileen Murillo, we are in timekeeper.
Perfect. You both, yes?
Okay.
If you're both okay with that, you can just kind of
Okay.
make sure.
Okay, thank you. I got it.
Sister Sharon as a cheerleader. I thought that was a good job for you, sister.
Rah, I can do that.
Yes, I know. Just make sure everybody's doing their work. If they need anything, just kind of moral support. Some days we get really tired and we need that pick me up, right? And then Jen Lee,
Definitely.
in charge of visuals. Are you good with that?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. And then group 4, I have Anna as a supervisor of all. Maria Garcia, notes.
Yes.
Danielle have as facilitator and technology guru because you guys have less people in that group. So I have people with 2 jobs. Is that okay?
That should be fine. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Perfect. Okay, so you got 2 jobs. And I think you're good with the technology because we've been messaging and it sounds like you're good to go.
Yeah, I can start a PowerPoint and get everybody on there.
Perfect. That's awesome. And April, visuals?
Sounds good.
Perfect. Jenna, note taker, emails and communication.
Sounds good.
And then Michaela Hathaway, note taker and communication calls.
Sounds good.
Awesome. All right. Now it's cool that you kind of know each other a little more this time around. You know faces, you know names, you know who you work well with a little more. And so this time around it will be a little easier. All right. Cool. If you need to, make sure you take a picture of the screen if you need, and then we can just kind of do that. All right. Are you ready to start? Our first presentation will be the Montessori group. Are you guys ready?
Angela, I was just wondering if we could have a quick break before we do start.
Yeah, let's do that. Do you guys want to do a 5-minute break?
Sounds good.
Yes?
Yes.
All right, let's do a 5-minute break. Come back at
Yeah,
about
excuse me,
7:45.
Angela. Yeah, excuse me, Angela. After I finish my presentation, can I leave a little bit early because I am fasting and I need to prepare some food for my family?
That sounds great. Yes, you can go do that. If you can join us back, go. You can certainly do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, I'll see you guys at 7:45. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
How's your throat? How's your right? How's your right knee? You're rushing your knee.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna start with the Montessori group. So let's see, who is the Montessori group? Okay, so Chelsea.
Judith. Yeah.
I am.
Davina.
Uh-huh. Do you guys have the PowerPoint pulled up, one of you?
Oh, do we need to pull it up, or are you going to show it on the screen?
So one of you would pull it up. It won't, yeah, it doesn't have to be
I
me.
can.
Yeah.
And does it show to everybody though?
You will, yeah, I will make sure that you can share your screen. Let's
Okay.
see.
Who said that they would?
I can do it.
Michaela, okay.
Okay.
All right, so I opened my screen to multiple participants. So at the bottom of your screen, there will be a green button that says share screen, Michaela. And then it's probably gonna say share. And then there's also gonna be a way that you can either click on your slides to go next. And then you can also assign other people to push next.
Okay.
Which is kind of cool if you don't want to be the one clicking next.
I'm trying to start the PowerPoint myself.
On the right side says present by share by your picture on the right side.
Oh, slide.
Go all the way to the right.
Is there Christian says he's waiting to get back in.
Oh, percent. Okay. Excuse me.
Okay, let me
He said he got kicked out by accident.
Okay, let me do that. Who is trying to come in?
Christian.
Christian. I don't see him in the waiting room. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Christian. Tell him to try log in again. I don't see him waiting. Let's see. Well, you can get, is Christian part of the presentation too? No.
No, Christopher's not part of this. He's not part of this
one. No. You go ahead and start, and as soon as I see him, I'll let him in, okay?
Okay, so I'll just go ahead and start since I have the first two slides.
Yes.
Davina. So our topic was about the Montessori approach, and we thought that, the first slide, go back to the other slide. Yeah, so I'll let you know when I want to change slides. So I put the picture on the front that says the little guy saying, I can do it, because the Montessori approach basically talks about really teaching children to be independent and knowing how to do things and learning skills for life. So, and the other picture is a picture of Maria Montessori with a group of children. And all of us that are involved in this group is Chelsea, Judith, Lizette, Michaela, and myself, Davina. So now you can change.
And Eileen.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, Eileen. Okay, so our names aren't showing on the bottom. Sorry about that. Sorry, I didn't mean to miss Eileen. Okay, so the first slide, we're talking about the history and philosophy of the Montessori approach. And where's my pictures? There they are. Okay. Maria Montessori lived from 1870 to 1952, and she was known for the fact that she was the first Italian woman physician, and she was an awesome educator. When we look at the first slide that shows her working with children in from a long time ago, I just love that picture. And she says, of all the things, love is the most potent. Like when you love to teach, you just, and love the children, it makes a huge difference.
I'm on my way back.
So, okay, so Maria worked with undeserved children in one of Rome's poorest inner city school districts. And she was observing and recognized the uniqueness of each of the children that she worked with. And within the children, she learned that there was an ability to learn through certain kinds of stimulus that they were exposed to during different times, different sensitive periods in their life. We can't see the bottom part of the screen. Or I can't see the bottom part of the screen where it shows the ages. Okay, so when we look at this part down on the bottom, 4 planes of development for each stage of age and development. And the first little square shows a little girl playing and learning in a Montessori school. We're talking about birth to age 6. And that stage is when children learn. This is when children learn through their sensory exploration, and she believed that children would create their own intelligence with hands-on experiences. They were really eager to learn and like explore and learn for themselves. And then the next little picture of the 2 little boys creating something there, building something. 6 to 12 years old, this is the stage where children learn through like conceptual exploration and develop their ability of abstract ideas. And they just love to use their imagination in creating these awesome things. And they're so proud of themselves. And then the next little picture shows a group of teenagers, like from 12 to 18. And that's the stage for humanistic exploration, as the children, teens, are learning to understand their place in society and how to make a contribution. They're learning, you know, what awesome things they can do for others, and you know what kind of how they can make a difference. And then the next little square shows those older students. They're graduating maybe from college or high school, but when they're from the age of 18 to 24, those are young adults, and they're just, that's the stage where they're ready to explore what their niche is in the world and what they can do to be successful and make a huge difference in their world. So next slide. Next slide, Michaela. There we go. Okay. Oh. No, that's good right there. So this is the next part. The first part was about the history of it and what Maria believed. And this part is talking about the philosophy of the Montessori, that just the philosophy that she created, that she came up with. And she just really believed that children have an absorbent mind. And she believed that children learn unconsciously from their environment. You know, basically, if they're having fun and they're just presenting with all these awesome things that they could play with and learn on their own, that they learn best when they're motivated and they're just having a great time, and they learn what their abilities are while they're doing something, instead of just learning facts from sitting in front of a teacher or doing paperwork and you know, doing worksheets. And then she believed that children have the ability to learn and that they deserve respect for all their capabilities, and that they should be able to learn at their individual pace, and the way in which they learn should be geared towards them. She believed that children develop, concentration and self-discipline in their environments if that's supported in the environment and those characteristics are supported. She believed that children didn't just benefit from their imagination, but from those little sensory experiences of what they're doing, what they're learning to do on their own with minimal guidance. Such as we look at these pictures and we see the little boy, he's learning to set a table, just based on there's little placemats and he's filling it in and he's learning that skill for life. And the little girl's learning how to pour juice or whatever it is in the second picture, and the third picture, the children are washing their own dishes. I mean, those are awesome skills that they're learning. So these children are learning skills of being observant and being problem solvers, and they learn to think and evaluate, and they experience, just joy of learning while they're learning practical life skills. And these are things that lead them to be confident and successful for later on in their life, learning later in their life also. So, in 1907, Maria that's when she actually opened and created her school and incorporated her philosophy and all her methods. But the Montessori schools are mostly, today we think of the fact that they're for 2 to 6-year-olds, young kids before they're, going into elementary school, although some continue into elementary school Montessori schools and even beyond. So that's why, she covers different areas. So there are Montessori schools for all those different ages. So the original techniques are usually still followed in those little preschool Montessori schools, and they have had huge impact on childhood education. So those are my slides.
Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The key components of Montessori applications are, number 1, teachers are specifically educated in Montessori philosophy and methods. Number 2, strong partnerships with families are considered vital in a Montessori school. 3, the classrooms are organized into multi-aged, heterogeneous, meaning dissimilar, groups of children. 4, didactic Montessori materials and experiences are carefully presented and sequenced to children's needs. Number 5, classrooms have schedules that allow large blocks of time to solve problems and become deeply involved in learning. And number 6, Montessori classrooms have an atmosphere that encourages social interaction for cooperative learning. I have included an example picture of a Montessori classroom, and it should be noted that the classroom in the picture has open spaces large enough for groups of children to engage in cooperative learning rather than being strictly individualized, like with rows of desks and a teacher lecturing in front, for example. While the children do often work on their projects individually, collaboration is encouraged. The next slide will expand more on these ideas somewhat with even more information in the following slides. So to explain the key components briefly, Montessori teachers are trained in the philosophy by an accredited institution. Families whose child or children attend a Montessori school are encouraged to be an active part of their child's learning because they are the ones who know their children best. Rather than the usual single-year age group, Montessori programs have a 3-year age group, in part to encourage the older children to teach the younger ones. The materials used in the Montessori classroom are didactic and make errors obvious to the child to allow for self-correction. The schedule in Montessori classrooms usually allows for an hour or more at a time for the children to work on their activities, often in small groups. The classroom atmosphere is such that children are encouraged to interact with each other rather than just sitting and listening to a teacher give a lesson or lecture. And the slides that follow explore some of these aspects more thoroughly.
My part was teacher education, and it talked about how Montessori teachers have received specialized training in an institution accredited for Montessori teacher education. The training emphasizes learning how to observe children, to know what activities they're ready for, and learning when and how much to intervene. And then it also talked about how teachers also study specific materials and activities that can move children toward their goals. Part of the study includes sequences of prescribed tasks, including using didactic Montessori materials to be presented to children in a designated order. Didactic is used for teaching in Montessori philosophy. It refers to materials that teach because their properties are inherently self-correcting. They are often made from wood. And then
Can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
The students in the class, they're asking that every time you guys swap partners, that you introduce yourself so that when they're writing the comments that they're gonna post on the discussion, that they can address like some comment for you, like so you can see, oh yeah, you did this great. Or so the first person was Davina, if you need the name. The second person was Chelsea, and then now we have Lisette. Okay, so
yeah,
then
that's true.
from now on, like everybody that comes next from this group or groups following this group can just say, hey, this is so and so that you can introduce yourselves. Okay. All right. So go ahead. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt
No,
you.
it makes sense.
But they just want to give you specific feedback. All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
And then number 5 would be teachers were formerly called directrices. Basically to us, that would be like a female director. And then it talked about how the ultimate objective is to help children learn independently, and therefore the teacher's functions would most often be the facilitator. With younger children, teachers are most active demonstrating the use of materials and presenting activities based on their assessment of children's needs and developmental level. And then often they present their lesson to an individual or small group of children. This is done in a sequence of tasks that will help the children learn specific skills and concepts. They're given instructions in presenting directions and sequence steps for the activity. If you look at the page in your book, I saw that page, I believe it was 107. If you look at figure 5.3, you will see an example of what they mean. And then in most Montessori programs, teachers work with groups of children in 3 age gaps, which, for example, would be 3 to 6, 6 to 9, and then, like it was stated before, if they continued it through elementary school, it would continue in that order. Can you get the next slide, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. Like I had mentioned in the previous slides, Montessori teachers have to receive specialized training in an institution accredited for Montessori teacher education. I included 2 different links, both resources the book had mentioned. One is AMS, which stands for American Montessori Society, and the other one, it's Su Chen Jenny Yen. And with hers, I saw that it had like different albums, and I kind of linked some of them too, so you could see like an example of what it was. I also included a short video of a Montessori event that AMS puts on, especially because it talked about like not just specialized training, but well, because it talked about specialized training, I thought it was really neat. If you could please play it.
Yeah.
In case it doesn't, I also included the link on the bottom. Oh, it does. Nice. Is there sound? Is there any way you can play it with the sound?
Let's see. Maybe it's because you have your
I
headphones.
can hear it. Oh, okay.
Let's see. Let's see.
The American Montessori Society, in partnership with Nature's Classroom Institute, present the following environment program.
I think that's a different one.
That's the wrong one.
That's a different one. Yep.
Excuse me. Let's try this again.
Sorry, I tried to add it so it could just like play.
They're bringing us the latest and greatest and preparing us for the future world of Montessori.
Okay. How about start over? Let's see. Go back to. Yeah.
Go back to what? Go back to the beginning?
Yeah, to the beginning. Right? The one that you want? Yeah. Is it the one you want us to play, Lisa? Yeah.
Yeah.
I love coming to these events. It's cool to see so many people who have the same passion. My candles being relit, I'm being reinvented in a lot of ways. It's like, wow, Montessori is real, taking over DC. Events like this propel us to the next level. AMS is on the cutting edge of what Montessori needs, right? For the future world of Montessori.
It's more than the sum of its parts. We attend workshops that give us skills, knowledge, and a sense of community, but the overall experience is even more so. Just even seeing the thousands of us feels very empowering to see colleagues from not only all over the country, but from all over the world.
My name is Grace Kwan. I'm from China.
My name is Yu Kim, and I'm from Korea.
My name is Antoinette Ami Ashon. I am coming from Ghana in West Africa. The first was in San Diego, then we went to Denver, and now we are in Washington, D.C. This is my first one, so I'm really same. First one too. I'm really excited.
Yeah. This is my fourth AMS conference, national conference, and I'm always just so revitalized and impassioned. This year, I finally got my opportunity to teach Montessori, and I absolutely loved it. And so I hope to just learn a lot of new strategies, and I hope to glean from the people that have been doing this for a long time.
There's a lot of people here that have a wealth of knowledge, and I'm very excited for that. They're going to help me to put all of my tools in the toolbox that I need and help me be successful.
I'm one of 16 members of the Emerging Leaders Fellowship. We're here because we love Montessori. We think it can change the world. We want to develop as people and as leaders. For every level, there are so many different types of workshops. The keynote speakers definitely addressing our mission of peace in the world, emotional intelligence, and just spreading Montessori any way that we can through the classroom and our community. When I come to the Montessori National Conference, I get so filled up.
I just get to sit and receive all of this good information and this good energy. And this is a chance for me to balance that out and give back. Good morning. Is everybody here for the day of service?
Okay, so we are going to head out into the community to give back to DC for hosting us. Service is really an integral part of Montessori education. We expect it of our students, so of course we're going to do it ourselves.
Inclusivity and diversity is really big at this conference. So I want to take that back to us and make sure that we're addressing those needs.
We are on the front line of bringing this philosophy to the world. And so it's not just about the private sector anymore. It's about Montessori being accessible to everyone. AMS provides such great resources for schools, and we've really been looking at creating this framework for schools so that no matter where they are, no matter what they're doing, helping them to see what's next and getting them there.
You're never done. You've done your training. You've done how many years you've been in the classroom, but you're never done. So the next level is keep learning and impart that to your students.
What I would like to take back and change in my classroom, I guess, would be the ability to walk away from this convention and enter my classroom as a renewed Montessori teacher, inspired, full of teachings and ways of Montessori education. Just like a fire starts with a spark, I think that's what we all hope to take back to our schools and our states and where we live.
Montessori is hope, Montessori is change, and Montessori is constantly evolving, and it's an exciting time for Montessori. It's a really exciting time.
AMS is your organization. So as you go back to Korea, to Canada, to China, to California, and take your next steps, we are listening. And we invite your feedback as we take our next step at AMS and the Montessori movement.
What's next? Dallas 2020.
So yeah, really quick, I just wanted to add the reason why I also wanted to include that, not just because it's part of the teacher education, but because I also liked how the teachers like kind of, in a sense, practice what they preach. Like they're not just telling the kids like, oh, let's be more hands-on or whatnot. They're doing it themselves, as you can see in the workshop. And that concludes my part.
That's awesome. All right, go to the next one. Let's see. All right, Michaela next.
Hi, everybody. I'm Michaela, and tonight I am going to be presenting teacher practice. And I found out that there's a prepared environment that helps with the teacher by using by having easy for children's independence in learning and exploration in the child's interests. And the environment will stay in, quote, perfect condition, adding to it or removing materials as needed. The pictures represent how big big and organized the classrooms can get, and how everything comes together well. Found out was the atmosphere of calm and order. The teacher walks around the monitor and monitors each child's progress and emphasizes on respect while talking to the student. And the teacher is an energetic link between the children and the prepared environment. As you can see in all these three pictures, is that the students are independently going through each section of the classroom, and a teacher who's helping in the middle, who's helping the students with sorting. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Judith. I'm going to be talking about curriculum materials and activities. Next slide. Okay, so in the Montessori classrooms, they have didactic materials, which are those that teach children directly by making any errors in their use obvious to the child for self-correction. They also use sensorial materials, which allow children to order and classify by impression to help them broaden and refine their sensory perceptions. These materials help children develop concepts in size, shape, color, texture, weight, smell, and sound. Also, conceptual materials are used to introduce children to reading, writing, math, and social studies using materials like puzzles of a map or math counting boards. Also, in the Montessori classrooms, practical life skills are taught. Introduced to children such as washing clothes, sweeping floors, watering plants. Children use real tools and utensils to do real world tasks. As you see in the picture below, the little boy is cutting some bananas. Also, in the Montessori classrooms, they mostly have wood materials. Next slide. So in the Montessori classrooms, dramatic play areas, dress-up clothes are not included in traditional Montessori classrooms for young children, as Montessori believed that fantasy did not have a place in curriculum for young children. Also, art materials may be used to help children develop their fine motor skills needed for writing development, but are not used for creative expression with young children. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Eileen, and this is my part, and that is the impact of Montessori ideas and the Montessori's model and DAP. So, the impact of Montessori ideas, throughout the philosophy of Montessori, it is discussed widely about the impact of its developmental practice. One of the ideas was that children are recognized through their development of respect. Another idea is that children create self-leadership in learning through their own navigation by self-adaptions. With the right environment, children will strive developmentally and independently. I chose these two pictures because, as you see here, we have a young child pouring what is juice into his cup all by himself. So, that's independent practice, as well as the setup over on the other side. This particular setup is an environment where a child can go and, decide, I want water, I'm gonna go get my water. I want a snack, I have a couple options here. I'll grab some bananas or some cereal. And when they're all done, at the bottom you see there that there's like a basket where they can clean up after themselves. So setting up the right environment really helps those skills as well. You can go ahead and next page, please. Thank you. So Montessori's model and developmentally appropriate practice. In Montessori, we are able to find value in developmentally appropriate practice keys. However, it has seemed that the concept of this philosophy has seemed to hold children back or even push them away from their performance in play. This is because children are not entirely given the freedom to explore the materials in their play to think outside the box. So instead, they are given the materials to use them as they should be. The proper sequence of order and control of space, time, and materials are questioned through the developmentally appropriate practice. And so children really, how I believe in the past slide, I'm not sure, forgot who that was, sorry. But she was saying how, when they don't have dress up, so they don't have that room for, for imagination. So a lot of people, are kind of concerned about, that kind of imagination. So, through play, so that's one of the things. And that is all for my part.
That is a great quote. The greatest sign of success for a teacher is to be able to say the children are not working as if I did not exist.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's everybody's goal to feel that way, don't you think?
Definitely.
Like when you have a substitute or when you're not there, your class run no matter what.
And I added a sources tab if Angela would, if you wanted that. So.
That's perfect. That's wonderful. Wow. Great job, you guys. Good job. Yeah, like reaction button, you guys. You can use the reaction button. Great job. This was excellent. Like, well done. You guys used your shared document in Google Docs to create something awesome. The visuals were amazing. The information was amazing. See at the bottom of each slide where there's like that part at the bottom says click to add speaker notes. That's where I want you guys for the next presentation, if you didn't do it for this one, to add for next one so that you can always have some notes for yourself. This is excellent. Like you had videos, you had pictures. It was really well put together. Yes,
it was really, and Angela, it was hard. I couldn't see my speaker notes down on the bottom, and so I actually printed out my notes. Like I copied and pasted them into a Word document and printed them out for both slides so I can see them. I hope the rest of you guys don't have that problem where you can't see your notes.
Yeah, no, I couldn't see the notes either. I had
Judith.
So that's a good idea to do, to print them out. That way you're like prepared.
Yes, that's a great way to go about that. Yes, good tip.
Having your notes in front of you helps you be confident and more like remember your information.
Yeah, the chat box is going awesome right there. Good job, Montessori Group. People are like super excited. I like that you had at the end, you had the references. That's good. Sometimes I forget to do that. That's okay too. But if you did it for this time, awesome. If you didn't, that's okay. That's awesome. Now, remember to be writing something that they can improve on for next time. Something that was your favorite about this presentation, something that stuck with you, something new you learned. Take a minute to do that. Our next group, I wrote it on my phone. Let me see. Second group is the Bank Street Approach, right? And who is part of that group? It's Erica Ramirez and April, no, Atilia. Who else?
Vanessa.
Vanessa. Who has
Christian.
Kristen, who has the slides to share for this one?
I do.
You do, Vanessa? There you go. All right, Vanessa, you can go ahead and share your screen, all right, when you're ready. And then everybody else, so on your table of notes, on the left side, you can have a line and then write Bank Street Approach. Yeah. Cool. I like that you guys did your own thing. And you know, when I did your initial Google slides, I changed up the background. You guys are free to do whatever you want with those, all right? So it's your own presentation. So I just wanted you guys to have something to start with. I'm really proud of what you accomplished. This is huge. Being at home and doing this completely online is huge. Kudos to you. I'm proud.
Angela?
Yes.
Question, when you put that grid up with the points that we're marking them on, I couldn't read the last column, so I don't know what that one
The
said.
last column was something that stuck with you.
Something that stuck with you?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Vanessa, to present, see right there where it says share, the yellow button on the right, it says present.
Right here?
Right? Yes. Perfect. All right. Ooh, we have even transitions. Fancy. All right, the Bank Street Approach.
Yeah, Yeah, this is my part.
You can go ahead and start. All right, Cosima, you're first.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, my part is, my name is Cosima. I chose to talk about history and philosophy. In 1916, visionary educator Lucy Sprague Mitchell founded what is now known as the Bank Street School for Children in New York City. It was a laboratory nursery school staffed by teachers, psychologists, and researchers who worked to determine the best kind of environment to help children grow and learn to their full potential. A driving principle behind the Bank Street philosophy is that children can become lifelong learners by interacting with the environment around them, including other people, different places, and various things, then interpret what they have just experienced. And I provide this picture to make it more clear about how engage the children and let them play in outside and chair outside with environment. Yeah, that's my slide. Thank you.
Okay. So this one is my slide, and then I bulleted the most, well, the six, the most important. And the first one is the development involves changes individually and moves simple to more complex. The second one is individuals operate within range and never at fixed point. On continuum development, progress and development involves both stability and less stability, need both old and familiar with new challenges. Children innate motivation to engage active with their environments. Children's sense of self is constructed from experience with objects and people. Testing the self-interaction. Growth and development involve conflict individually with others. Which for the sixth one, I actually like the sixth one just because it does, I know that it does relate with like a lot of teachers, I guess you can say, or people that work with like kids, because it's pretty true.
I'm Otilia, and I did teacher roles. The main role of a teacher is an observer. As the teacher is observing, the teacher needs to be able to view the child as a whole child, individual. Sorry, and that means like knowing their experiences as well. They'll be observing their cognitive skills, social, emotional, language skills, and physical. Alongside observing the child, the teacher will also be connecting a child's home life and the school life. An example would be teaching a lesson about getting to know all their family members. A teacher should utilize all the materials and opportunities to create a teaching moment. An example would be observing a child during dramatic play and noticing their interest in doctors. So the teacher will do a lesson on learning what, how, and why on doctors. That's fine.
That's Hannah D's turn.
I can do this one because she said she was not going to be in the meeting, so I will do it for her.
Perfect, thank you.
So hers was the classroom curriculum is based on study and learn about the human world, focus on themes that interest to children and included how what and why explorations of the physical and social world. The 5 key social studies are cultural anthropology, that's a big word, history, political science, economic, and geography. The art and science are woven in with the social studies. Children play with materials that are open-end, blocks, water, wood, paper, and art materials. Children can choose freely and learn in their own way. Group activities such as cooking, taking trip, group discussion, and outdoor time. And play is the heart of the development interaction approach.
Have you guys been thinking what kind of curriculum you've been creating? What kind of unit you've been creating? Is it a blend of things? Let's keep learning. Keep thinking. Okay, Erica?
Oh, sorry, I read it. My part is the Montessori Approach. I'm really curious about preschool because most of the time I'm working with preschool. And I put in this worry that your child preschool will focus in only a few hours of development. The bucket straight approach to preschool emphasis education to all child, emotionally, physically, socially, and intellectually. And I recollect this information and is about the package tree approach. Recognize all individuals learn best when they are actively engaged with materials, ideas, and people. And authentic growth requires diverse and nurturing opportunities for ongoing social, emotional, and cognitive development. We understand in the package tree learning style, in the package tree approach, also knows and development interaction approach, the emphasis is on education, the whole child emotionally, socially, physical, and intellectually. The cognitive development and emotion are interconnected and affecting teaching. There are development shifts and changes that occur when the children are in different times of age. For instance, a child, this is an example, one child will be 8, but developmentally behave as though they are oldest or youngest. Because of this, teacher receives and reflect to improve teaching. And one thing is really important for me, and I put it in big words, is the teacher say every moment is teaching moment. And they working, I'm really curious about the test, and that's this early child, they don't do exactly an assessment or test. They make observation about what they doing, what is the interest for the children, and they writing everything, all the observation, and they planning and preparing a good lesson plan for help to the children. One of the thing is, one of the teacher think about if they need be move or remodel the classroom for help any children when with any development, they move and they change the environment for help to these children to help in any situation they need help. This make observation for be prepared, and they enroll to the parents to help to the development of the children. One of my curiosities, they working with different age together. They stay in the morning in 3 different carpet, and they tell to the children the instructional, and after that they separate in different age to give working one-to-one, depend on the development they need to support. But it's really important, they compare basis teaching for daily learning, that's really curious because they says this different approach different to the other curriculums. This approach is really simple. They working what the children like to do or they love to do. But it's really important. I put in this little video, it's around 5 minutes, but they talking about what is the Bank Street approach. I don't know, you can put it on.
You can click on the closed captioning
Bank Street teacher thinks about the whole child. So we think about the cognitive side of the child, the social emotional, the language, the physical.
Each child deserves to be known for who they are, what they bring to school, knowledge of the room setup, knowledge of the curriculum, knowledge of child development. All of that goes into getting to know children.
Curriculum is founded on principles of human development, either child development or adult development, depending on which course of study a student is engaged in. And that really is very unique. It really is the foundation of what we do, and it's reflected in how we think about curriculum development, how we think about meeting the needs of children, how we think about assessment. It's reflected in everything we do.
The idea of what kids should study and how kids should study and whose voices get heard in a study really resonated with me.
We learn about the reasons why we're doing what we're doing. We also have opportunities to actually practice it in our classes and to bring that practice into our classrooms and then come back to Bank Street to reflect upon it. I'm a public school teacher, but I study alongside of charter school teachers, private school teachers, people who are educators, but not necessarily teachers, people who are leaders.
All of the instructors that I've had have really attended to matters of teaching to a diverse group of learners and helping teachers to figure out their own biases and assumptions when it comes to working with diverse learners.
We provide our graduate students with training in how to provide entry points to English language learners in order to give them the opportunities to have equal access to the curriculum in a way that they might not have. So the hope is that the teachers will take these strategies and will apply them to the different groups of kids that they're working with.
You joke with your kids, you use humor, you get to know them personally. This child needs a visual clue. This child needs to be previewed about what we're talking about.
To accommodate a student with a challenge in reading or writing is something that I learned how to do at Bank Street.
Everything we did in the graduate school was collaborative, from group projects to giving each other critical feedback to developing curriculum units together.
You couldn't really make it through graduate school unless you could collaborate well. If you're a Lone Ranger, this is the wrong school for you.
One of the most instrumental parts of my experience at Bank Street was the conference group.
The conference group is a way for people to come together, to share experiences, and to help each other figure out how to move forward in a powerful, thoughtful way. We worked together to brainstorm and to solve it, and that was collaboration in action. I want my leadership students to have the courage to ask hard questions that matter to them and follow those questions to a place where a certain action is warranted.
In the research seminar that I took this year, I started with a question about how changes happen in schools with teachers who are resistant. Through the guidance of my professor and my colleagues here at Bank Street, I refined my study into looking at teachers as resistors of change and turning them into agents of change instead.
We're hoping to hone the antennae of our students to be careful observers and then start to think about what might be effective intervention.
A class that helped me think more deeply about children was my observation recording class.
In that course, you've got to follow a child for approximately 2 months and observe them in different settings and figure out what sort of learners are they, what supports can you offer them. And I found by gathering this data, it really did help me to understand this person. That was a real inquiry-based experience.
And it's not just for the sake of inquiry, it's towards ultimately a purpose of affecting a change.
Advocacy was a topic that came up in almost every course in my Bank Street education. We were always thinking about how to get kids to ask questions about their world and how to take action.
If a student doesn't have a voice in his or her own classroom, how could you possibly hope for them to have a voice in the larger society?
It's not just knowing what advocacy is, but how do you move out? How do you move and advocate for a specific issue that's important to you?
All of my graduate professors encouraged me to find my voice in the class. They created the conditions to allow me to be an advocate for myself and for my students.
Advocacy and social justice, it's this core that runs through the veins of everybody who's here.
The best thing about Bank Street is that it's very practical and you can apply what you've learned directly into your classrooms. You are going to learn in the same way that you're going to teach.
Excellent.
Teacher, one of the things I reviewed this video is because starting on the early age, everything what they learn, they use for all the life and the future. That's why I review the video and say, yeah, it's really important working together and make the groups and select any activities or lesson plan we can provide to the children for teaching in all the areas. And one of the love to this is, I put on the picture, the mom separate with the children. It's really hard when they start to go into the center and make the separation is really hard, not only for the children, for the parents either. And that's why I put in the picture, they working too hard for emotionally, they feel safety and the teacher express everything for they feel on home. And I like this. I review a lot of stuff for looking at the information, and the children feel in the middle picture is they feel really happy when stay with the teacher. Is the first person who make the connection with the children, and they learn very well when they feel good in the centers.
Perfect. All right, let's get a little faster with our presentations, just a tiny bit, so we get everybody tonight.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Christian Magayan, and my topic on this is the Bank Street and the DAP, also known as the Developmentally Appropriate Practice. So from the section, it's basically explaining the beliefs of what an instructor should be able to follow. There's like a little outline, and as you can see, there's at least 5 elements of commonality to have when you're going into this Bank Street approach philosophy. And the philosophy of the Bank Street approach really focuses on children becoming lifelong learners, and by introducing with environments around them, giving them experience on everyday things and to learn visually and emotionally. And the development study follows as such emphasis on play. So as educators, I feel like emphasis on play is not totally there as I would believe it to be, because here's why. We, not all, but there is some that is very textbook based. We have to follow a certain guideline and a certain curriculum, as far as I know. And I feel like there needs to be more emphasis on basic routines, like just playing with the children, get involved with activities with them here and there, just give a moral support rather than just kind of explaining things that you write. I feel like if you're more interactive, they're going to be more interactive with you, and it'll definitely show a progression within the teacher and student, and we'll have a bond that will make a trust as well. The concept of children's active world and constructing their understanding of the world. So to make it in easy terms, basically it's to understand the children's world of what they think and their perspective, and kind of including real life scenarios or environments into their world. So kind of slowly introducing them what we do when we are sick. So we go to the hospital. We kind of add little terms, latent terms here and there, and just sort of give them an understanding of what to do in the real world, because we're essentially, the Bank Street approach is to prep children learning skills of the real world. And the next point, I've highlighted it in bold, because I feel like this is one of the most important attributes that an instructor should have, is the consideration of the whole child. So I feel like instructors need to take consideration of the child's mentality and mental state, because I feel like today mental illness is a big thing right now, and I feel like children need that extra attention. Before, just kind of for a second, just forget about the curriculum, forget about what we need to do. I feel like children's mentality and emotional state need to be first, because from my childhood, I was under a traumatic experience, and I didn't have that household that gave me a whole lot of emotional support, and I was always stressed and always felt like scared of the world. And I did have this instructor who was very, very considerate of my feelings and of my perspective and my worldviews. And I feel like it's important for each child to have that emotional support, regardless if it's from a parent or an instructor. I feel like we need to consider the child as a human being, go back to like, we need to go on their level on that. And I feel like sometimes it's lost of touch, out of touch with us sometimes. So I feel like we need to get a refresher and a reminder that we need to consider the whole child before we can do curriculum, I believe. But next one is the recognition of importance of family involvement and communication. So that ties in with the consideration of the whole child. We need to get families involved into the activities. We as instructors have a lot of roles, playing as a parent, a teacher, a caretaker. We have a lot of roles, but we have to advocate these activities and present them towards the parents, so then they can have a better understanding of what we want to teach their children. And we want the parents to be involved as much as possible, because I believe that the parents are a big part of the child's development, and the children are with the parents most of the time, and they learn what they pick up from them. So we want to give the parents a positive attitude and understanding. Like, if we work with the children, you're going to see a more enthusiastic learner, and that will want to be more independent and want to learn life skills and will want to progress in the world. That's what the goal is for the Bank Street approach. And lastly, the teacher's role as an observer and a facilitator of learning. So this ties in with, basically, this is everything I've already discussed. And to further put more emphasis on it, the teacher needs to play the advocate role. We need to look at both things, our perspective, their perspective. Not so much compare it, but to put it in our minds, I would say, if that makes any sense. Just to have a thought just occurring in our heads. And we need to observe children and what they want to learn and what they need to get any more emphasis on. And we need to make curriculum in a way that children will understand much easier, because not all children are going to understand the same curriculum, nor are they going to be from the same culture or from the same background. Everyone has a different background. And I feel like it's the hardest role for a teacher. And I feel like teachers need more appreciation for this, because they do a lot. And playing the observator and the facilitator of learning is a big part of the children's progressive learning. And this is one of the main points that we need to consider and practice more. And definitely this is one of the big things. And let's see, the DAP is a historical link between principles and practices, and many educators see that as this. It goes as far as the first Bank Street Nursery School through the ideas that has been, what's the best word to describe it, has been formulated to today. So it goes a little way back, and there's a lot of personal opinion and a lot of stuff, but I feel like this section, by the way, is 112 if you want to read more on it. There's actually a little figure that says a credo for Bank Street, which is basically a personal attribute or experience that you want to go. And I can just explain one of them. One of them that really put me and gave me inspiration was the courage to work unafraid and efficiently in a world of new needs, new problems, and new ideas. So I feel like that I can reside with a lot, because we do, well, I do, and I hope everyone else has the courage to work in, you know, despite the epidemic that we're going through right now, like to have the courage to work and to do it in a professional way where we can give motivation to children in dark times like these. And I feel it passionately that we need to just work around the problem. Like I've always been told to work around the problem, give it your 100%, 110%, and just whatever happens, just kind of go with the waves of the water, just go with it. And, you know, we'll get new problems and roadblocks down the road, but we just need to present new ideas, be optimistic. And if we do that, children are going to be more optimistic as well.
Yeah,
And that'll be all.
You should see the chat box.
Let's see. I think there's a quote too. I can.
Super excited.
Sorry, I didn't really want to make it into like a. Yeah, okay. I can read the quote, guys. So Ottilia found this pretty nice quote. It's called it's by L.S. Mitchell. It's lively intellectual curiosities turn the world into an exciting laboratory and keeps one ever a learner, by L.S. Mitchell.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Excellent, you guys. Good job. Excellent work. I am so impressed with those Zoom presentations. Honestly. Really great. The visuals, the videos, the information, everything. Excellent work. Great job. And you guys should be looking at the chat, see if you have anything that maybe might be for you. Great job. All right, the next group is the Waldorf Approach. Who's going to be sharing the slide?
I will be sharing my screen.
Diana? Okay. Thank you.
Oh wait, if it lets me, it's having me go to my system's preference now.
Let's see.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was gonna be more work.
I could try it, Diana, if you want.
There, can you see it?
Yes.
Oh wait, never mind. That's Nayeli's, huh?
That is Nayeli's.
Oh, okay.
Go, try it.
Okay, let me see if it lets me now. Okay, do it. Yes. I don't know how to make it bigger.
Just go present right there.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so ours was the Waldorf Approach. And that one, actually, its goal for education is to graduate balanced individuals who have heads to think for themselves, the heart to serve others, and the courage to take action for the common good. So basically, everything that they incorporate in the learning is incorporated with our like the daily rhythm of life.
Before you continue, can I just interrupt? About our time today, we still have 3 groups to go. Would you guys like to finish presenting the other groups next week, next time we meet, class 7? How would you like to do that? Or would you like to continue presenting all groups tonight?
I cannot do tonight. I actually work at 5 in the morning, so I can't stay on later than 9:30.
I would rather do next week as well.
Same with me.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with Anna. I would rather do next week.
Next week is
Same here.
Same here.
Class 7, our next Zoom time.
Not
Yeah, class 7.
But wouldn't the other presentation, right?
So we could just present next week or something.
Well, next week I'll be posting a video, so we actually don't meet. I don't know if everybody will be available because I didn't have that scheduled as a class for you to be there. Is everybody available?
Maybe do your thumbs up reaction.
Yeah. Let me do.
People are available.
Let's see.
I'm available
I'm available whenever.
next week. Yeah.
Next Friday at 6:30.
Yeah.
I don't know, because then we have to watch your video and do our homework and all of that, and also do another class at the same time. That's a lot, because I mean I have a lot of homework for 3 different classes. It's kind of hard
Yeah,
to squeeze everything in.
Yeah, I can't
Is there
do
a way
next
to
Friday. I
record
actually
our-
do Zoom calls on the Fridays I'm not in class with my kids from work.
How about, would you guys be okay when we do class 7, we start a little earlier?
It works for me.
Yes,
fine.
that works.
How much earlier?
I work till 5, so.
We instead of starting at 6:30, we can start around 6.
6 works.
That would be okay.
Yeah, 6 and work.
Would that be okay?
When would that be? What
Yeah,
day
that'd be
would that
okay with me.
It's class 7. It's May 30th.
Is that fitting in all the rest of the presentations and class 7's presentations?
I know it's only 4 groups for that day. For the other presentation.
But we've only done 3 so far.
Right.
Or
is a Saturday.
Well, I'm just gonna say if we put it to limit ourselves to 10 minutes for the 20 minutes that she posted.
I can't.
I think
You can't
can do it.
hear you.
We just have to be tracking our time.
Yeah. I think what she's trying to say is that everyone just has to limit their time and be conscious of how long it's taking you per slide. It's only supposed to be 2 to 3 minutes, so that we can get it through.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
We have to come to a common, agreement, and so we still have to present you. We still have to grade. Doesn't matter what time or how long it takes.
Right. Well, of today's presentation, who has to leave that has not presented yet?
I do.
You have to leave.
I really want to present today. This is group 6. And the reason is because I already have a busy week. I have a daycare And I'm taking 103 English, and it's a lot of work with all the Zooms. And next week I have 4 Zoom meetings for daycare, so it's just a lot.
What I
just
thought
get
we
it
could
over.
do, if there was a group, somebody that needed to leave soon, we could do that presentation first, right now, and then
I'm willing.
we can record the session.
Okay.
And then it would be available for you guys to watch it later.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
And then whoever needed to leave, if you already presented and you need to leave, you can. And then Victoria, you're right. It's actually the 29th. Yeah, it's Friday.
Yeah, I agree. We should finish it tonight because there is a lot of obligations for people on the other days. Yeah.
Yes, we have Danielle. Which group are you?
I am group 5.
And who is the other person that needs to leave as well?
I'm okay with staying.
Okay. So then is it okay if the Waldorf group goes after group 5?
Me too.
So are we finishing tonight? Because yeah, group 4. I'm in group 4 and I can't stay.
Is there a way we could just record our presentations and upload them?
Oh.
That's what I suggested in the chat box.
Okay.
That's also a good idea.
An extension on the assignment that's after. Can we have it maybe do it tomorrow if that would be okay?
Well, you know what you guys could do? We could do the following. How about I schedule with each group a specific date and time that if you can't stay now, if your group can't stay now, you can go, and then we can schedule a time that you and your group and myself, we can meet together. I'll record the meeting and you present to me, and then I'll make sure that Zoom meeting gets uploaded. How does that sound?
That works great for me.
That's great.
Sounds
I
good.
like that.
Okay.
Sounds good for me.
So, okay, so should we try group 3 now, Walter? No, yes or no?
Yes, we'll get it over with.
Yes? Okay. All right. So then I'll go in order. 3, 4, 5, 6 until there's nobody there. All right?
Okay,
All right.
so we're continuing?
Yes. Okay. So go ahead and let's do 3.
Okay, so the history and philosophy of Waldorf Approach was, it was founded by an Austrian philosopher named Rudolf Steiner, and it was founded in the 20th century. Right now, there's over 1,000 Waldorf schools throughout the world, and there's more than 250 in the United States. Steiner felt that there was a part of the aesthetic side, so that's like the artistic side, being overlooked, and it was mainly being focused only on the intellectual, and he felt that the aesthetics had very much part in the development of the whole human being, so that's why he really wanted to incorporate it with it. He focuses on 3 elements that he bases his education on, and it's head, heart, and hands. He integrates aesthetics, practical skills, academics, and they're all coordinated with interdisciplinary learning. He emphasizes in creativity and imagination when learning. And he divides actually all the stages of learning into 3 different age groups, and each one has 7 years within those stages. So the Waldorf Approach actually got its name by the school that he first used his principles of teaching, and it was actually from a cigarette company. So he taught the people who work in that company, he taught their children. And so that's where the Waldorf Approach got its name, and it was Waldorf Astoria Cigarette Company. As I mentioned, he focuses his philosophy on those 3 elements, and he focuses on the whole human being that coordinates with the rhythm of, or the natural rhythms of life. The 3 elements, like I mentioned, were head, heart, and hands, and they actually represent thinking, feeling, and doing. And he believed that these help individuals become strong, free, and healthy. Nayeli, can you go to, or is it me, right? On the next slide. Oh, there we go. Sorry. So when it comes to curriculum, teachers are given much freedom when they are creating this curriculum. The goal of it is to, for the early childhood stage, is to develop physical coordination. So that's why you see on the bullet, they do a lot of like gardening, cooking, baking, guided free play in a home-like environment, using natural materials, and a lot of movement games. And then in the elementary one, he focuses a lot on the heart part of it, which is painting, sculpture, drama, artistic movement, music. He focuses on this so so children can see the beauty that's in the world, and be able to understand and relate to it. And then in the adolescence, he focuses on the head, and that really focuses a lot with independence, ethical thinking, conceptual judgment, and social responsibility. And everything that he does, obviously all the subjects are incorporated in it, and they last like they have a unit kind of like the way we do. You know, we focus on one thing like a month, so they focus on that for 1 month at a time. And they really don't rely on standardized books, but rather at the end of their course, they create their own summary of the work that they put, that they've done, and they put it into like a book form. So that was the end of my slides.
Okay. Good. Okay, I'm Nayeli. So for the teacher roles in Waldorf Approach, the central focus is to develop the essence of each child, basically instilling their understanding of and like an appreciation for their own background and their place in the world, not just simply as children, but as a member of humanity and as the world itself. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So in the Waldorf schools, teacher loops with the class through elementary school year. So usually up to the 8th grade. So basically like the same teacher from kinder to 8th grade, I think. I'm sure. And teaching at least the principal academic subjects.
Can you imagine yourselves like having the same kids for their whole lives or their whole school lives?
Yeah. This basically allows them to build a relationship and for in-depth understanding of individual children, permitting teachers to support their individual variations in their each pace of learning. So like she kind of basically understands each and every one, how they learn and stuff like that, which is pretty cool, I think. Teachers show the role of authority by being the guidance of respected authority, not like in a way where I'm the adult and you're gonna listen to me, but mostly like we're here to show love, kindness, and respect to each other, and we're gonna treat each other equally. The main goal for the teacher is to help the children find their answers to the world. So what I like about this is that they don't always like focus on academic stuff. They're very open to like basically any world topic or mundane topic, I guess you could say. Yeah. So, next slide, please. So the training requirements in Waldorf Approach is that they're trained to absorb the children carefully and have regular conferences with the parents to gain complete understanding of the child. So they're always asking the parent like what's going on at home, and they try to have a close communication. There are no grades in schools who use the Waldorf approach, which is pretty cool. And at the end of the year, teachers are required to write a detailed evaluation of each child. Most Waldorf schools are not administered by a head teacher. They're all led by the teachers who decide on a pedagogy. And what that means is the interactions between teachers environments and learning tasks. So they basically all get together, they brainstorm, share their ideas, and then they come down to one conclusion and stuff like that. They must have a completed college degree and undertake specialized education in one of their 15 Waldorf educations, which are here in the United States, that offer their certification. The program is a 2-year process, like many schools, and the first year consists of foundation studies in basic anthroposophy and Waldorf pedagogy. So you get taught how to work with your peers, like the head teachers, the assistant teachers, and as well with the students. So it's not just like, you're not just thrown out there and you're wondering what to do. There's always, they're always teaching you. And yeah, next one. Thanks. So for the Waldorf education and DAP, some components of the Waldorf approach clearly demonstrate ideas of DAP, like the emphasis on play and activity in the early years. So they also include preschool in there. Like, I don't know if they start from infancy, I forgot actually, but like since preschool, they're even starting with the same teacher up until like kindergarten and then so on until the 8th grade. So they're like always emphasis on play, which is really important, integrated curriculum and learning through theme study. There's not a lot of pressure on early academics, which is great. The highly individualized attention with each child. And they try to understand the developmental stages, which is very important. And basically there's an emphasis on the entire child. Kind of like in one of the other approaches where it's not just simply academic, it's all about mental, physical, and all of the developmental like needs that a child needs. And then the areas that seem less closely aligned are like teacher direction and emphasis on celebration, on festivals and holidays, and remaining questions regarding the philosophical emphasis of the founder. Done.
So I have literacy as well. And in the early childhood stages, they focus a lot on oral language, and it's used by having daily story time, like using puppetry, games, and singing, finger plays. And reading instruction doesn't really begin until age 7. So most children aren't actually fully reading until they're about in 3rd grade. But they focused a lot in the early childhood stages on making a strong foundation for literacy through a multisensory experience, like using drama, artistic endeavors, play and movement, reciting poetry, telling stories. And in the Waldorf education, it elaborates literacy in a very thoughtful way. So first by beginning with speech, next listening, and then moving into more formal reading instruction. But a strong foundation for literacy is still being built within the early childhood stage. The purpose of it is the purpose for this approach is at an early stage is so that children can have a better understanding and have a stronger foundation of the reading process when they are taught to actually read in a more phonetic approach. And it creates a love for literacy in like all kinds of forms. So this builds a purpose for reading and comprehension skills, retention, and confident engagement within all that.
Hey, so my name is Ceci. I get to do the math portion. So what I really liked about Waldorf, I have a really hard time saying it, sorry, is that, you know, they just make math fun from the very beginning. So there's not that stigma of like, oh my gosh, math is so hard and nobody likes it, including me. But I really like how they just right away introduced that math is all around the world, and it's in nature, it's, you know, in the kitchen, it's just, there's math everywhere. And so they attach that to the children, or they teach that to the children. And then it's, you know, it involves movement, music, rhythm, art, you know, form of drawing, language. Obviously curiosity and wonder, creating a truly multisensory approach to math. Like preschool, you know, children gain relationships with math with exploration and discovery, like, oh, like that man has 2 eyes, 1 nose, 2 ears, 1 mouth, you know, like that's how they kind of like start an exploration and a relationship with math, like, you know, attaching it to something. It's not just like on a paper and numbers. As well as, you know, they introduce like the number 1 is a very important number because it's kind of like it's holistic to them, and they make it very special and its significance that like it's like 1 universe, 1 human being, 1 world, like, you know, like called Earth, you know, so forth. So it becomes kind of like magical, like that. I think that's kind of the approach that it becomes fun and magic and inviting. And so you know, that's kind of, there's different approaches. Like I learned that they don't learn math every day. Like they don't have math like in regular school. You have a math class every single day. You learn math every day from kinder to, you know, 12th grade. Here it's just blocks. So like say like the whole calendar school year, for like 6 weeks they're gonna do math, and then for the rest of the year there's no more math, which is super cool because sometimes math can become daunting to some children because they're not getting it, or it's kind of sometimes boring. So it's good that they're making it fun. They're only like limiting it. They're not pounding it into these kids. It's something that they're gonna seek and have curiosity for instead of being pushed to learn. So yes, so that is my math section. You wanna strike the next slide? Thank you. So then I also have science, which I really loved. I love science. You know, they kind of wrap it into also like being special significance, meaning like, you know, they let the children know that their belief is that each child is a spiritual being. And sorry, we took pictures of our notes. We cheated because it doesn't let us see our notes. So I have to slide to my notes. So sorry for the pause. Okay.
That's a great idea. Use your phone. You can just look and do your thing.
Okay, so you know, cultivating children in an attitude of awe. So like, you know, they want for children to learn science with being like, oh, wow, like not like, you know, when I think about science, because of the way I was taught, is like in a laboratory with chemicals and, you know, findings, you know, but no, they go out and they like the kids are participating observers. So like they are not just observing and like reading something from a book or seeing it in a lab. They are being a part of it and getting their hands dirty, getting in there. And so it becomes like wow, I can create this. And it becomes more of like exploratory experience for them. And as they grow older, you know, obviously the science develops, like, you know, they dissect animals, which is something that we don't do very much at a young age. They start it and they, you know, go higher. And then, you know, they try to help through science, they try to help them develop their strong senses. You know, they have to use their senses. You know, science, I never thought that I use my senses in science, but we do. You know, what does it smell like, feel like, look like? And then, you know, they want the children to come up with their own theories and then, you know, play them out, not just like read it from a book or something that someone else told them. They, you know, so it's like, it's a deeper understanding of what science is. You know, science is nature, like they're walking science, like everything. I just feel like the Waldorf approach like makes it just a fun, inviting, you know, participatory experience for the children. And then something I did not mention in math is that they, like from the age for like first grade, they learn multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction all together at once. So it's not like they don't just learn addition like in first grade, subtraction in second grade. They learn it all together, so it all wraps around. As well as in science, they introduce all of the levels of science to them. And then obviously, like little by little, they're like, okay, remember we talked about this? Well, this is what that means. And like, so I just think it's really cool and magical. And the way that, you know, they approach it is very not scary to the children. Yeah, those are my slides.
Okay, so I'm Sister Sharon, and I have social studies, and my notes. Okay, so in the Waldorf curriculum, social studies includes appropriate introductions to a lot of different things that are introductory for a child, because again, they're addressing the whole child. And so they'll talk about geography. And again, with the Waldorf style, is they don't just, there's a real focus on simplicity and handmade and hand-on experience. So they don't just buy little books and worksheets, they do things. And so in geography, they might be building a little map and doing explorative things and activities that incorporate art. And you'll see, I'll talk about art in the next slide, that art carries through all the different subjects because it kind of gives expression, I guess, to that. So there's also a focus on multicultural. And so in a limited early way, they can start learning about various cultures. And you can see a little child's activity where they did different faces of different cultures that they've learned about, or maybe they could be tracing tulips from Holland, all different kinds of things to just introduce them to the various cultures of the people that we meet and should honor. And then there is a little section on history, and there would be an introduction to like American history. So I've got a little log cabin there that's a built one with just popsicle sticks, and then kind of an introduction to some of the great civilizations of the world, which would be like Egypt, the Mayan civilization, but in a very limited age-appropriate way with the children. And then when we get to community awareness, let's see, I think I missed something here. Oh, also, when they're doing the multicultural, they would also be exposed to like symbols and images and stories from other cultures to make it more children friendly. And then when we get to history, would be an introduction. Oh, that's that one, sorry. My notes are not matching that. So community awareness is the child's role in the community, teaching them their own responsibility in the family, to themselves and to society on a young age. And then the moral education is teaching them responsibility towards themselves, towards their neighbor, and towards the world. And so just a lot of different ways to address the whole child. So then if we can go on to the art. So this one, again, as I was saying, I love how the Waldorf approach has art kind of across the board in almost all of the subjects. And so even their study books are created by hand, and they're beautiful. You can see how they learn to, because one of the things that they do in the Waldorf curriculum is they have the teachers buy really beautiful art supplies, like the big block crayons and different things like that, and teach the children a real respect for these materials, so that when they use them, they're not just scribbling and trying to turn in a worksheet, but they're creating something very beautiful. And so by respecting the materials, they begin to respect the work that they're doing with it as well. And so there's a sample of a little Waldorf book that a child made. They can do the alphabet, maps, geometric shapes. Those are some of the many things that are included in these various study books that the children are guided to put together. And then also the Waldorf Art Experience is reflective and peaceful, with an emphasis on original creations. And so the children engage with nature, beauty, creativity, self-expression. And so those art materials are provided to encourage, again, as I said, the production of beautiful and unique works. See if I'm missing anything in my notes here. So a sense of order permeates the classroom, which is to be free of clutter, and which is surrounded, instead of like bought posters from different stores, they're surrounded by handmade posters that the children themselves have drafted or the teachers have drafted, And then it further instills a sense of appreciation for the simpler things in life and the things that have a lot more meaning because they are handmade. Then it is also a developmentally appropriate curriculum, which addresses each child's individual readiness. And you'll see that themes are used throughout the program and become the subject for the art projects. So there's a theme being introduced in the science class, and so the art will help support that by bringing imagery into the workbooks that they're creating and also projects that they're doing. And then they have form drawings, they have handcrafts, they even do the little like calligraphy or penmanship, little circles to train them how to hold their pencil and to do something to make them have good penmanship and all of that from an early age. They do nature projects, clay sculptures, drawing and painting, chalkboard drawings. These are just some of the many means of engaging a genuine full expression, creativity, and forming independent leaders and independent learners and future leaders. Okay, so that's my part.
Hi, you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes.
So I did the physical development, and Steiner divided child development and into 3 distinct stages and labeled them based on the primary force driving a child's experience in the world. So he did ages birth through age 7, age 7 through 14, and ages 14 through 21. And for birth through age 7, he categorized it as, he defined it as will, and ages 7 through 14 by feeling, and ages 14 to 21 by thinking. So for birth through age 7, the primary developmental task of this stage is skill development, and the child in the first 7-year phase expresses him or herself through an abundance of energy and activity. And learning is largely experiential, imitative, and sensory based. And they learn primarily through doing, and that's what like in the earlier slides they described as the hands part of his philosophy. And rather than being directly taught, the imagination and thought process are allowed to develop through song, story, and puppet shows of their own accord and pace. And then for when it comes through their ages 7 through 14, the imagination and feelings of the pupil are the key elements being developed between these ages. Oh, this is getting interrupted. Children of this age are mainly ruled by their emotions. So children are learning skills such as classification and forming hypotheses. While they are cognitively more mature now, children in this stage still require concrete hands-on learning activities. And then when they get to ages 14 through 21, they connect with their bodies and hearts, and they cannot now be taught in a more logical, structured fashion. And the transition to this stage is signaled by puberty. Only after entering this stage are children able to think rationally. As the body becomes disrupted and transformed with adolescence, children are encouraged to embrace freedom and their role in the outside world without external confusions. So that's for the physical. And then for the social and emotional development part, the children's social and emotional skills drive them to learn to communicate, to connect with others, and to resolve conflict and to cope with challenges. And then it gives children the ability to reach goals and the ability to persist in the face of life's difficulties. And the secret to socially and emotionally perfect children is virtue. So they look for behavior, like their behavior shows high moral standards, and they also go based off self-initiated compliance, and that's initiated or begun by oneself, that like the act of conforming, and then by boundaries, a limit of a sphere of activity. And I chose these little pictures because you can see the children really exploring, being a part of a group activity, and you could just really see all of the children being so hands-on everything, and that's really good for their little brains. And that concludes our PowerPoint.
That's wonderful. That was excellent, you guys. Same, lots of visuals and very informative. I really liked this group, did great with just like having the information in like tables and very organized, you know, manners. That was wonderful. I actually, in Brazil, I got to go to one of those schools, and it was really artistic and interesting, and they had a lot of, you know, performances for the kids. It was really interesting, really cool. So I wish we had one in our area. That
So
Angela? Yes.
I have a question. The discussion questions tonight, are we supposed to be reviewing everybody's or just the few that we saw tonight?
Just the ones that you saw tonight. So today we saw group 1, 2, and 3. So we saw Montessori, we saw Bank Street Approach, and we saw Waldorf so far, right? So those would be the 3 that you would write notes about and then post. Now in the chat, if you're following, so I arranged with group 6, which is the creative curriculum, correct, Victoria? And then Danielle's group is group 5. Misha, 5. Can you, what is your topic, Misha? Your presentation.
High scope.
The high scope approach.
Sorry, the mute.
High scope.
I got
So
you,
they chose, so we've been messaging and emailing and all that. They are gonna come back and present next Friday. They're gonna connect at 6:30, and so group 5 goes first, and then at 7 o'clock, group 6. But then we have another group today, right? We have, what group do we have still? Let's see. The Reggio Emilia Approach, group 4. Would you like to go now, or would you like to go next week? Now?
I don't mind. We could go now unless is everybody here?
Yeah, and if people can't stay, remember it's being recorded, so it's okay. Yeah, so go ahead and if you guys want to do that, and if you only stay for this part, that's what you post for tonight. Yeah, I'm excited to see. All right, and everybody's invited to join the class. So I'll post it now, message everybody and let them know that they're welcome to come and join next Friday. Anyone can join and see their presentation live if you feel like it, or you can just see the recording later. Okay, group 4.
Angela, I'm sorry. Will Friday's class start at 6 or 6:30 then?
6:30.
6:30, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
A regular time, right? 6:30?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 6:30, and then the
Angela, I'm gonna go. Angela, can I go?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Go. We're recording, so you can just watch it later. Don't worry about it.
All right.
Yes.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, and watch it tomorrow or sometime that you feel like you have energy. It's late. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
You too. All right. So then 6:31 group starts. Group 5 high scope, and then the other group, the curriculum, the creative curriculum, go at around 7. And then now we're gonna have group 4, the Reggio Emilia Approach. I really like this approach, actually. So I hope that you guys like it too. I mean, all of them are really cool if you think about it. I can't have favorites though. It's just, you know, favorite approaches. It's hard. I think all of them have like pieces that are like very cool. I'm like, we kind of use all of them. Don't you guys think? Have you thought about that?
Yeah.
Like I see myself like trying to gather a little bit of everything when I'm teaching. Like, we do this, we do that, we do this, and we do that. And then it's all the best of all worlds, I guess. But some people are really like, okay, this is what we do. So go ahead and start. Who's gonna share the slide this time?
I'm not sure how to do it.
So at the bottom of your screen, there will be a little green button that says share screen, and it will show you which one of your views.
And okay, so share screen.
Thank you for staying this late, you guys. Thank you.
Is it the one that says screen?
Yeah, let's see.
Okay.
And then click twice and then share.
Is it sharing?
Yeah, I can see your little daughter and baby. There you go. Oh.
One.
Perfect.
Wait, I think this was an old copy. So not this one. I can't remember how I saved it.
Who else is in your group?
What if I go to...
It should be saved on your Canvas as that you submitted, and then you can just open that document.
So on assignments?
Yes.
And then this one?
Yes. And then open that.
Click on the right.
Click on up top where it says submitted.
Download.
This one?
Download. To the right more.
Right.
Oh,
the
screen is here.
Print it in.
On the right hand side.
I couldn't see it because the pictures were on that side. The screens.
You can move them around too.
All right.
You guys are getting so good at Zoom. I'm so impressed.
Okay, so to present, I know I had seen
at the bottom, there's a little presentation thing by the 95% at the bottom.
On the bottom?
Yeah, right there, a little low, bottom right.
The bottom?
Bottom right. And a little bit lower.
Lower.
A little bit lower.
I can't see.
Left, right. One more.
Over.
Right, one more.
One
right
more.
There. Yeah.
One more?
No, you were there.
Right here?
Left. A little more. Right there.
Slideshow?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
But then I have to go back to the first slide.
There you go. Okay, so we are group 4.
Is Jenna still here? Jenna's not here anymore, huh?
Who?
Jenna?
She gotta go to work, she said.
Did you guys is she okay with you guys presenting?
Not sure. That's why I was asking if everybody was still here, because I know she typed it on the chat that she couldn't present because she had to go to work.
Well, let's present it, and then if she wants to present it too, we can meet again.
I can cover her slides today. She's right after mine, so.
Okay, let's see.
Okay,
so said, I don't want her to be, let's see, Jenna said, yeah, she has to wake up super early. She said,
and Leslie's not here either, right?
Leslie?
Let's see what Jenna had said. Well, do you guys know their part?
Yeah, I think we can do it.
Okay, so let's present it, and then if they would like to present their part, I would be happy to meet with them and then redo it if you guys are okay with it, in case they really want to do that. All right? All right.
All right. So, hi guys, my name is Maria, and I will be presenting, well, me and my group will be presenting the Reggio Emilia approach. And I will be talking to you a little bit about the history and the philosophy of this approach. So it was first developed after the conclusion of World War II by the psychologist Loris Malaguzzi. I don't know if I said it right. And parents in the surrounding area of the Reggio Emilia in Italy. They believed that children will benefit from a new and progressive way of learning in an innovative approach to early childhood education. Working under the assumption that children begin to form unique personalities during the early years of development, children were using many kinds of symbolic language to express this understanding and their involvement with the world around them. For example, there was this book that they did, it's called The 100 Languages of Children and now The Wonder of Learning, which pretty much emphasizes and the importance of providing children with the many ways of thinking of the world around them and expressing their feelings and their interests by either drawings or like different kind of languages that children can express themselves. So these books have toured Europe since 1984 and North America and Asia beginning 1987. These illustrations have provoked deep questions about young children's capabilities and making many wonders if our traditional practices have underestimated and undervalued children's capacity to work, maintain attention, and represent and express their understanding of the world. So I'm gonna move to the next slide. And I'm gonna continue with the philosophy and a little bit more about the history. So this program, what I understood from this program was that it should not be viewed as a model or a curriculum to be copied in other contexts or countries. Rather, the work should be considered an educational experience that consists of reflection, practice, and further careful reflection in a program that is continuously renewed and readjusted. So reading chapter 4 in the book, I really like this quote that Carolina Rinaldi said. And she said, the Reggio approach is not a method that can be taught, but a way of thinking about children, schools, education, and life. I really like that. I think that we can all agree that we use this when we work with children and just in the school settings. It was a really nice quote that I wanted to share with you guys. We'll be moving on.
I'm Tracy. This is my part, the key element of Reggio Emilia approach. So at its core, Reggio Emilia is guided by a handful of fundamental concepts that separate it from the other early childhood education philosophies such as Waldorf and Montessori, although they all do focus on the whole child. One of the biggest differences between Reggio, Waldorf, and Montessori isn't just the guiding principles, but rather the environment that produced the foundations of each, for each of them. For instance, the Reggio Emilia isn't a predetermined curriculum progression, and there is no international training to do it. So for those that teach outside of Italy, it is referred as a Reggio inspired, meaning that they create Reggio style environment and the aspects of relationships that kids interact together and with the teachers. And so for the basic philosophy of Reggio Emilia, parents are a big part of the education for the kids also. You can flip the screen.
Next slide.
Yeah. What does Reggio Emilia look like? To me, it looks similar to Waldorf, where they have a lot of the natural textures, art, all that kind of stuff. real life materials such as having spatulas that their parents would use, or wooden spoons, not all the plastic stuff that most preschools have now. The objects are arranged in an inviting and thoughtful way, are not cluttered or institutional. I feel that Montessori can sometimes be institutional, so that's where it kind of differs. Documentation is visual and presented, showing the kids' progress in their work. And then documentation is also displayed in a very creative way, and shows the thinking of everybody involved, including the teachers and the parents too. The materials are purposeful, embrace nature, as you can see the rocks and the big chunks of wood outside, which are super cool. And they represent a lot of cultures also with the materials that they have. The layout in their classroom promotes relationships, communication, elaboration, and exploration through play, like a lot of them do. And that's it for me. Tried to make it short and sweet.
Excellent.
All right, so next we're going to look at relationships within Reggio Emilia. So it's not like your traditional school at all. Teachers are definitely, they try to be more, they try to work with the kids in a way that they're seen as someone who can help them and facilitate, but they're also on the same level, because the kids are ultimately, they're deciding what they want to explore, what do they want to learn about, what the next unit is in the curriculum. And the teachers themselves, they sometimes they work in pairs, so they got like a co-teacher. Maybe they'll have two teachers for a class of 25 or something like that. And within the school, they all work together. So I've heard about a school, a Reggio Emilia school, that they would take tours around each other's classrooms, and the classrooms are always set up beautifully, colors, pictures, art everywhere. And it's supposed to incite, children, their excitement for learning and for, exploring and all of those things. And because a lot of Reggio Emilia is how things are presented and laid out. Because you'll have different areas specific towards, something like an art table, or like blocks, or especially, what's it called? Dramatic play, I think that's what it's called, where they can dress up and stuff like that. So they all work together and try to build each classroom to reflect that and reflect those, ideals. And they're also really big on the community. The Reggio Emilia schools, they try to work with, the community, finding ways to give back or join. I think parents and other people are always welcome, within the schools, for them to be able to, explore along with their kids or understand what the school is like. And especially the picture all the way to the right, I think that shows a play that they did for the community. And so they'll do things like that. They'll present and they'll give back and make sure that everyone is involved. All right, and then next we'll go to strengths and weaknesses. Let's see. So some benefits and difficulties. That's how I wanted to phrase it. Definitely one of the benefits is the fact that it's interest-based. So like I said, the kids pick what they're interested in and what they're going to explore next. And everything has creativity in it. They always try to make things as creative as possible, have art projects, do dramatic play, things like that. And because it's based on what the kids want to do, it's very flexible. They can move around different things. If kids start to get interested in, something else, then maybe one day it's dinosaurs and the next day it's bugs. Then they can move on to those things. And they try to help the kids work towards, like, of course, they encourage them to work together, but ultimately it's for them to be able to explore the world on their own. So some of the difficulties, it's a fairly new approach. I believe it came after World War II, so hasn't been around for too long. Not many people have heard about it. And I was thinking, as a child going into a Reggio Emilia school, um, I was a shy kid, so I can imagine seeing all of this color and maybe it being busy, stuff like that. It can be a bit overwhelming for the kids, especially if they're not used to something like that. The fact that there's less structure could mean that the kids could, fall behind, or just some kids like more structure and to be able to learn than others do. So I think you have to kind of find a balance, and so that push for independence, again, a child like that who needs the structure and needs that motivation might not strive as well as kids who are more interdependent. And then I will go on to Jenna's slide, which was, the first one was why Reggio Emilia. So let's see, provide students with creative classroom that not only allows for them to use their creativity, but also allows for students to engage with everything in their classroom. So that goes back to the way it's laid out. It's laid out in a way that the teacher can see everything. So everything is fairly cohesive. So they have the corners, but the kids don't have to stay in like one area to play. Like, they can move things to different areas. They can use things. They're encouraged to use materials in a way that's fairly unconventional, to be creative with what they're using and find new innovative ways, to play with them. Proven to be fairly effective. I think that encouraging that creativity, I think that's something that's kind of lost in today's school system, unfortunately. And that creativity is something that can really benefit you throughout your life, because it allows for more innovation, like going into the workforce and things like that, and being able to work with other people. The natural materials provided for students in most Reggio Emilia classrooms allows for the student to create connections with nature even when inside the classroom. So a lot of the pictures that I've seen of Reggio Emilia classrooms have, they like to deal with textures. So they have bark, or they'll have seeds, or acorns, different things like that. Like in the first picture, they got a branch up above with things hanging on it, and they've got the little wooden stools and the plants everywhere. So they like to incorporate that, have it in the classroom. So even if you can't go outside, it's still there. And exploring that, exploring textures and using all of your senses to learn, I think is the best way to learn. All right, and then Jenna's second slide was what to expect from a Reggio Emilia classroom. It's going to be very colorful. It's going to be very beautiful. You're going to see tons of artwork, that the kids are doing, that always hang up, the artwork that the kids have, and they always have projects going, things like that. Let's see, teachers follow no specific curriculum to teach the students that, because again, the students choose what they want to, what they're interested in. Teachers in Reggio Emilia classrooms are certified to teach and adjust to each child's specific needs. I think that goes with being able to work one-on-one, really knowing the child. I think that's really important in Reggio Emilia classrooms. And not having too many students to one teacher. So having that, co-teacher with you, or having other teachers involved in your classroom helps you be able to focus one-on-one a lot more than maybe a traditional classroom you would be able to. Best way for children to learn is through relationships and with their surroundings, peers, and teachers that all work together to help the child learn. So we're going to end with a short video that talks about Reggio Emilia. you wanted to play the video, it lets you.
The sound.
There's no sound?
There should be.
I don't hear.
Yeah.
Because Maria might be on mute.
I thought I was unmuted, but I guess not. Let me play it again.
A 3-year-old comes into the classroom brand new. Many of them have never been in school before. Some of them that have, they're just learning language. They're just acquiring the ability to ask questions and to engage and to make meaning of the world around them. The children really, really, really get to develop a sense of self, build themselves within a community, and explore new and interesting topics. There are wonderful resources here for children to build, to make, to create. Everything is done with a sense of purpose and intention. Every material in the classroom, every material in the makerspace, in the gym, in the art room is geared with the children's interest and is built to incite imagination, creativity, exploration, and to give children critical thinking and problem-solving skills that they need for later life. I couldn't be more pleased with how this program at King, a Reggio approach to education, respects and honors childhood. It gives the children and the teachers and the parents a real opportunity to work together as a team to educate the children in the most appropriate ways possible for each child and for each family. And that's really special. Play is the work of young children. And when they get to play, they are not only learning and developing their social emotional intelligence and an ability to communicate, to negotiate, to problem solve, they're also learning letters, numbers, math skills. They're learning how to make patterns and how to conceptualize and sequence. But it's all done at their level. The classroom is something that they've built and that they are engaging in every day. Our curriculums come from their questions and their inquiry. And as they present an interest in a topic, in a subject, we surround ourselves with it. And as they get to kindergarten and first grade and on to middle school and high school and beyond, they are problem solvers. They are community members. They are good citizens, and they are explorers. And they start that journey here in pre-K, and they just build upon it year after year until by the time they graduate, they're ready to take on the world.
Excellent.
Okay, so I think that's it for us.
Perfect. That's awesome.
How do I exit?
You can just close. Okay, let's see. I can. Let's see.
Oh, stop share right here.
There you go. Yeah. All right. So I have for our next. Let me share my screen with you guys.
The child has 100 languages, 100 hands, 100 thoughts, 100 ways of thinking.
Perfect. So I have here for our next class, can you see my screen? Yeah. All right. So for our next classes, we have a few things coming up that I want to just show you. So you know, let me put that in presentation mode. I have us here. So today we almost finished our presentations. We have just 2 groups. They're gonna come Friday and present, and I'll be sharing with the whole class. If you guys wanna, join, participate, just come and join them and watch live if you want. We have the following week, I'll be giving you guys like a Panopto lesson again, like a video lesson on student-led conferences, report cards, and all that. So I'm right here on class 5. And then you're gonna be doing your week 3 of your lesson plan. And then you're gonna be getting ready to record a video of yourselves teaching one part of your lesson from your curriculum. you're gonna find something from your curriculum that would be like a content integration, like something that you can do together, like social, like maybe science and math together, maybe some social emotional learning with sensory. I don't know, you're gonna try something that you can kind of combine together and teach, like some quick lesson. It doesn't have to be anything super special, just you teaching one little thing or pretending you have kids in front of you. It doesn't have to be with real kids, because right now we don't even have to be leaving our house, right? We shouldn't be.
If we do have real kids, can we just have somebody video us doing it with real kids?
You can just use your phone and kind of do your own thing. Like you just kind of have somebody there, like just, you can either put it on a little tripod thing and record yourself, or you can just, you know, pretend you're teaching the lesson. Just
Because
have
I mean, I'm actually working, so I do have kids that I can do it with. So
That's awesome. Where do you work?
I work at the YMCA.
Oh, perfect. So you could just definitely do that. Make sure you have the back of their heads then.
Yes.
Right? So we don't have problems. Not that anyone will watch them, but just us.
Yeah.
Yeah. But cool. So I'll explain that better during the video, have an example or something. It's like a quick little lesson. That would be for the week 6. And then after that, we meet again week 7, and you have your groups. And then we keep going. But I'm excited to see you guys again. And it's super late. You're like, oh my gosh, let's go to bed. Let's do this. If you guys have any questions for me?
Yeah, I do. Is there any way that we could push back the, because I know you wanted us to turn in those reflections of the other presentations. Is there any way we could push it back just a little bit for people who have to, you know, get up a little bit earlier tomorrow?
Yeah, you could do, and you guys can do that this week or throughout the week.
Okay.
Or until everything is turned in. I mean, once everybody presents, maybe you can finalize that after you see everybody's. That would be cool too. I mean, I'll leave it open until everybody turns it in. You know, I usually don't close assignments. I don't usually say, oh, it's closed, you cannot turn it in anymore. I wait until, if you've had a class with me before, I just leave it, you know, I leave it there, and I message you. If there's something I'm concerned about, I'll message you, be like, hey, I noticed you didn't turn it in, or this and that, and then I'll work with you on deadlines. But for this class, I really hope that the main thing is, like, if you're doing a lesson plan, it might be a day late or 2, but you turn that in. Your reflection for tonight, do it tomorrow. There's just, it's no big deal.
Okay, appreciate
All right,
that.
yeah, just do what you can. All right, so tomorrow, this week, throughout the week, so you can have all your notes there for everybody.
Awesome.
Are we just taking
All
pictures?
right. What is it?
Are we just taking pictures of our notes that we took?
Yeah, you can just take a picture and do that.
Pictures of the 3 presentations that we saw earlier.
Yeah, you can just do that and
post those pictures.
Yeah, upload that picture. Okay. Yeah, as an attachment. Write something. Here are my pictures, and
okay. I know I had already answered to that discussion earlier, but I wasn't. I did a big.
But you did. Were you the one that reflected on your own?
Yes, that's what I thought. Going by what they had answered, so I figured, oh, maybe this is how we're supposed to do it.
No,
is there any way that I can add attachment pictures to that reflection on my own? The way that one's already there.
Yep, you can just do, just go back to the one that you already did and set it attached to that. That's perfect. That was awesome. I liked how you thought through your own, you know, process of putting it together. That was really good.
Thank you.
And you know, kudos to you guys. That was awesome. Misha, you and your group, who was your partner?
Dawn, Danielle, Anna, and Jenny.
Yeah, for your lesson plan.
Oh, high scope.
Yeah, no, your lesson plan, the unit.
Oh, trees, yeah.
Yeah, you both, like, you were.
Oh, me and Dawn did that, yeah.
You guys were first to turn it in. It was so fast. That was the first one that got dropped in the box. I was like, oh my gosh, they're done. I got to read it. I was like, oh my gosh. It was like a sound of angels. Oh, I read it. And I was like, they did it. Oh my gosh, they watched the whole video, the 2 hours, and they did it.
Yeah, I do it at work, so.
That's awesome. But you know what? Like it was hard to think that people would watch really 2 hours of the video and like go through my thinking process, like, and actually do it. Because it's so hard to do it like online. In
Yeah.
person, I can show you examples. I can sit by you. I can like, but virtually, it's just the hardest thing. So you guys did awesome.
Thank you.
Yes, all groups, all like partners and individual groups like Hannah D and Cosima, like everyone, Tracy, like Maria, everyone. I'm like,
Thank you.
everyone, like I'm so happy.
Even teaching a lesson plan, if we want to record a video, I have a partner, we're supposed to be together, or each one record a video by himself.
Yeah, you should record your own video by yourself because of what, you know, the social distancing right now. I shouldn't require that.
Okay.
Unless you're already working in a school, and if you would like to do that, if it's part of your work, then you're fine. It's
No,
not
I will. Probably I will share my son.
There you go. Yep, you can definitely. Yes, use your son, daughter, cousin, you know, siblings, whoever you have like close to you.
That's fine.
Yeah. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a great night. All right.
Good night.
Yes, you too. Bye bye. Thank you for watching this whole time. Bye, April.
Bye.
Bye, Ophelia. Bye, everyone. Bye, Hannah D.
Bye.